Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandy Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Here, playoff football, week 11. Tonight, the Butler County High School Sports Reports radio network is crammed. The number 8 seed New Bremen Cardinals in a Division VII Region 28 playoff first round contest. I'm Chris Vogt. I'll be leading the way while we welcome in our color commentator, Joel Sackenheim. Joel, playoff football in the village. Does it get better than this, buddy?
This atmosphere is nuts. This stadium was not built to hold this many people, and we saw New Miami getting stands in from 2 different county fairs and everything else just to try to fit everybody. It's an enormous crowd here, Chris.
Well, Joel, and I tell you what, we were talking to quite a few New Miami folk, and you know,
and New Miami, undefeated season, whether you want to consider them 10-0 as the people here in the village gladly will remind you, whether you consider them 9-0 with the Harbin points will tell you without counting the landmark Christian game, New Miami has earned their number 1 seed, and the village has really come out, rallied around, and supported this football team tonight. You can see it in all the signs. Mel's Diner with closed, with the sign saying closed. for the Viking football game, and you can see that all the way through. If somebody wanted to burglar every house in the village tonight, this would be a great night to try it.
Well, Joel, I tell you what, let's kind of set a little bit of the scene before we get kicked off here. Actually, we're going to scratch that. We're going to get right into things. We'll go and get a little bit of a little bit about what's going on with New Miami, and we'll go ahead and touch base in terms of what the New Bremen Cardinals, where they're coming from, what got them to this point. I tell you what, New Bremen coming to New Miami. These are two fantastic teams looking to get ahead of the game right here. I tell you that much.
And Chris, it's going to be a real clash of styles tonight. New Miami is the upstart, the one that maybe wasn't expected to be this good. They've got the athletic ability. They probably have a speed advantage. New Bremen is going to be a little slower, but a little more disciplined, more of a Terry Malone style of football possibly. And, of course, they are battle-tested. This environment, as crazy as it is, I'll tell you the people that are most comfortable, and that is New Bremen based on who they played.
Here it is. New Miami's going to be kicking off to New Bremen, and that's return at the 25-yard line and definitely blasted by a New Miami Viking. And New Miami smothers that return, and New Bremen's going to start this ball at the 35-yard line.
Not a very long kickoff, Chris. Dan Holman, the up-back, returning that for the New Bremen Cardinals, and that was Dylan Spivey making the tackle in kickoff coverage. Is going to be New Bremen Cardinal football. They won the toss and are choosing to play offense. They did not defer, and they've got it at the 35-yard line to start their first drive of the game.
Here comes number 14, Mitchell Hayes, is in the shotgun. Looks like we got a pistol formation for the Bremen Cardinals. Hand off to number 28. 28, he's got some running room down to the left side. 40, 30, 20, 50, 10, 5, and touchdown! Joel, that was number 28, Zach Berkey, first play of the game, and that's that.
Hey, New Miami, welcome the Midwest Athletic Conference to your football field. What more can we say? That handoff to Zach Berkey. Mitchell Hayes, as you said, in a shotgun formation, but I don't expect to see a lot of passing out of New Bremen tonight, and certainly if they're going to be able to roll off 65-yard touchdown runs at will, wow. New Miami has not seen anything like that in practice or in a game all year long. This is going to be a challenge.
Well, we're going to see how New Miami responds to this. We're going to line up for this extra point here. New Bremen, first play of the game, Joel, giving the visiting New Bremen Cardinals something to cheer about here as they walked into Merrifield. The kick is up, and it is good, Joel. 7-0 New Bremen up on top of New Miami. Rapid quick fire right there. I tell you what, let's go ahead and dissect that play. We're going to stay right here, Joel. Let's dissect that play. New Miami probably is going to try and figure out exactly what they're going to see. And New Bremen was in that pistol formation. Looked like a little bit of a read, I guess maybe, but he decided, let's hand it off to Berkey and let Berkey do the rest.
I couldn't tell if that was a straight read option or a straight handoff, but it definitely was a run up the middle. The thing is, and as we pulled up the Midwest Athletic Conference website, we saw that Mitchell Hayes, the New Bremen quarterback, is actually the fourth leading rusher in the Midwest Athletic Conference. So even though they're in a shotgun formation with lots of receivers, they're going to try to run all night long out of it. New Bremen's passing numbers are dead last in their conference. So you think it's going to be a lot of passing based on the formation. It's not. It's going to be a lot of spread running for the New Bremen Cardinals tonight.
All right, if you're just tuning in, I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. It is 7-0 New Bremen up on top of New Miami. And one play. We've seen one play, Joel. So New Miami's going to return this bad boy. And there's the kick. New Bremen wearing their white jerseys with the maroon trim. And there's a return by Deonta Duncan. He tries to get a little bit of running room there, but is smothered. And that's going to start this New Miami drive at the 20-yard line. No harm, no foul there, Joel.
Nick Alleg with the tackle there for the Cardinals. And let me tell you, Chris, we were here in the Village, 4 weeks ago with their game against Miami Valley Christian Academy. And in that game, New Miami did not run a play from their own half of midfield the entire first quarter. They're going to start this drive at their own 20-yard line. That's the worst field position we've seen them in over a game here at the Village.
A little bit of different story since we're playing in Week 11, Joel. Under center, we'll be calling his name quite often. Handoff up the middle to I think we're going to look at Dylan Spivey there up the middle. And
absolutely there.
Yeah, nothing going, no gain, Joel.
New Miami is going to have to try to outspeed New Bremen. And the key to this game is actually going to be Deonza Duncan, I think, even more than Spivey. One of the assistant coaches was telling me before the game that they hoped if they could write their script, either Diving or Spivey rushing will end up with 300 yards tonight, one or the other. And that's what New Miami is going to need if they're going to be able to beat a team of this caliber.
Reaching the 11-minute mark here. Yeah, let's see. Trey Robinette's going to roll to the left side, a fake handoff, and there's a flag on the play. Trey Robinette throws it away, and let's see what they're going to call here, Joel. Ideally, you would call a holding on that.
This looks like offensive holding, and we're going to see what the referee says on this. The pass was thrown right before Robinette went out of bounds. I bet Bremen might decline this penalty and take 3rd and 10. Let's see what they do. I mean, 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 10.
I think you're going with 3rd and 10 right here, buddy.
It looks like New Bremen's going to play the field position game. Oh, no, they are declining the penalty.
Yep, so we're going to set up a 3rd down and about 15 right here, Joel.
Not only are they declining the penalty, they're saying that Robinette actually went out of bounds before he threw that ball.
Good
so
call.
It's going to be a 5-yard loss. You got to be careful with all those Butler County Fairgrounds stands sitting over there, because he kind of went scooting a little close to that for my comfort level. 3rd and 15 for the Vikings, who are facing some very early adversity from the 8th-seeded Cardinals.
Yeah, we talked to Jesse Hubbard, who said the New Miami Vikings were ready for this bad boy. We'll go ahead and get his insight here once we hit a quick break. Trey Robinette under center, Deonza Duncan split to the right side. We got the wing T formation here. Here's a pitch, but it's a handoff to a counter, and we're going to catch the number there, but he's smothered, Joel. I think we're looking at maybe, I will give him a 5-yard gain on that.
He got the yardage back from the sack.
And that was Danny Spivey on that 5-yard carry. Brings up 4th down, Joel.
It's 4th and 10, and I'll tell you what, New Bremen could not have picked a better start to this game.
Seeing New Miami punt. Number 11, Elijah Faulkner's running out. I don't think he realized that they were actually punting.
Yeah, what's that, punt formation?
Right.
How does that work? Oh, boy. Ooh.
And nice pursuit from the rush by New Bremen. That's returned by number 14. That
quarterback.
Is Mitchell Hayes. Yeah, he's going to do it all, isn't he? And Joel, that kick didn't reach midfield, so that is going to put New Bremen at the 33-yard line of
New Miami.
Right. So, yet again, New Bremen's playing a decent amount of field position game here.
New Miami better be very thankful to have this ball to 33, because Ben Blickel nearly blocked that punt. He was well in there and unblocked right at the middle. Punter just barely got that ball away.
We've got Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers, one split out to the right, one to the left. It's 1st down and 10 at the 33-yard line. Handoff up the middle to number 4, and that is Wyatt Dickey. Wyatt Dickey breaking some tackles.
Going.
Yeah, New Miami just can't get him wrapped up, and that's going to take the ball down to the 25-yard line. We'll call that about an 8-yard gain, Joel.
I'm looking at New Bremen right now, Chris, and these boys look big. They look very strong.
Yep.
And it's very difficult to simulate in practice the size that New Bremen can bring. And if they play with the same discipline of a traditional Baden Terry Malone type of system, it's going to be very difficult for these maybe undersized, fast but small Vikings to be able to keep up with New Bremen tonight.
And I think that's what New Miami does. They counteract with a lot of that quickness and speed there. Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun. Fake handoff. He's going to take it himself at the middle. Got some running room. He's got the New Miami Vikings all in disarray there. Little stiff arm there, but he's taken down. That brings the ball to the 15-yard line. That's a gain of about 10, Joel. Wicked stiff arm to Deonza.
Deonza Duncan made the tackle, and I got to say, that was his own read. That was something where you look at the defensive end, if he bites on the running back, and Mitchell Hayes tucked it and ran himself. I saw no less than 4 New Bremen Cardinals having pulled around based on tight ends and linemen that had a hat on a hat. Beautiful seam for Mitchell Hayes. This is great offensive line work for the Cardinals.
Under the 9-minute mark, 7-0 New Bremen up on top of New Miami. Hand off to number 4, Wyatt Dickey, and he's got some running room inside the 5, and that's going to be a 1st down and goal at the 3-yard line. They're marching, Joel.
And nobody touched him until he got to the 5-yard line. Nobody touched him within the first 10 yards of that play. Offensive line in New Bremen is absolutely dominating this game right now. No other way around it.
Possibly something, but going back to what we were talking about with that MAC conference, Joel, it's probably something that the New Miami Vikings have not seen to this caliber.
We're going to be talking about the MAC tonight, I have a feeling, Chris.
Absolutely. 3 wide receivers spread out to 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun. Not much help for him. He's going to take it himself at the middle. And that's some good defensive stop, but he's going to get a push, Joel, and that's a touchdown.
Straight quarterback power.
Touchdown.
Quarterback power right up the middle. Got stopped about the 3-yard line, just kept churning his legs. The line just kept churning their legs. And the whole pile just moved right into the end zone. Beautiful start for the Cardinals.
If I'm looking at that play, I think Mitchell Hayes had that play right in his hands there. I think he knew what he was going to do there.
That was a Cam Newton play call. I've seen the Panthers run that many times over the years before Cam got hurt.
Owen Gable lining up for this extra point. Snap, kick, and it's up, and it is good, Joel. New Bremen taking a 14-0 lead on the new Miami Vikings, quieting a somewhat excited crowd before this game started here, Joel.
Well, I'll tell you, New Bremen brought plenty of fans of their own as you look across the sideline. Their crowd is perfectly into the game right now, and they probably have a few more coming from that volleyball game. New Bremen girls just won the state championship up at the Nutter Center about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, congratulations to them.
So they're on their way.
Well, you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. This is our second broadcast at John P. Mara Field. We saw New Miami take care of Miami Valley Christian Academy 40-0, and we're happy to be here. We want to thank Athletic Director for New Miami, Eric Hayes, for setting us up for prime position for this broadcast.
Oh, New Miami's done a wonderful job in general for this whole thing.
Absolutely. That was one thing we were talking about off the air, is that New Miami taking what they can get in terms of preparation on this, one of the biggest events that this athletics program has seen in a long time.
The stadium is not built to hold an event like this, and they've done a very good job adapting it.
Kick off to New Miami, that's picked up, and I think that is Jordan Robinette. He doesn't get nowhere, and he's going to run this ball to the 23-yard line. That's where New Miami is going to start on their own. 8:16 showing on the clock.
I think Ben Blickel ate him on that tackle. The size difference is overwhelming there, Chris, and he hit a brick wall and bounced right back down. I mean, there was nowhere to go. Well,
one thing we want to note about Jordan Robinette is that he sat out last contest and was kind of nursing a little bit of a leg injury, and Jesse Hubbard said he's a go.
Okay.
Ideally going to play some defense. That's what Jesse Hubbard told us here. So Trey Robinette under center here, and New Miami starting this drive at the 23-yard line. Hand off to Spivey up the middle, and Spivey gets crunched. Ball hits the ground, but I think he was down there by contact.
Down got contact. That was Spencer Allig, and then our friend Blickel. Blickel's been everywhere. Nearly blocked a punt. Great open field special teams tackle, and now it's a defensive lineman. He's in the backfield, stopping that fullback dive on that play. New Miami's offense got to figure out how to get the ball in the hands of Duncan, because they're not having any success on the ground right now.
Second down and 10, reaching the 7:45 mark of this first quarter. If you're just tuning in, New Bremen, 2 quick scores to silence a home crowd here at John P. Mara Field. DeAndre Duncan spread to the left side, handoff up the middle, and there's nothing going on there. We got a little bit of a extracurricular activity. Jerry Helton from New Miami giving a little push after the play, and I think they're going to flag him for it, Joel. A little frustration setting in for the Vikings there.
Blickel with the tackle once again in the backfield on the fullback dive, and these New Bremen Cardinals, man, they are well coached. They are very disciplined, and yes, Chris, you're right. It's going to be a 15-yard personal foul penalty. So your offense is really struggling to get anything going. How's a 3rd and 26 sound?
Well, if you're New Bremen, that sounds great.
Yeah, New Bremen, this is going about as well as they could have hoped, man. They stuck into the playoffs by 1/2 of a second-level point over Ansonia, who was would have been the 9th seed.
And you mentioned the entire MAC conference, Joe. It's unbelievable to see a team like New Bremen going 7-3 and barely getting in as it is.
New Bremen was the 5th-place team in their conference because the 4 teams that finished above them were Marion Local, Coldwater, Anna, and Minster. How'd you like to play that in your conference schedule?
Yeesh. Here comes Trey Robinette, 3rd down in about eternity here. Toss to the left side, a little bit of running room there, but New Bremen is going to stop that just after a 2-yard gain for number 7. That is, we're going to call that Dylan Spivey taking that pitch there. Joel, I think the New Miami lowlights is making us a little bit blurry-eyed here when they're trying to read those numbers on New Miami.
Well, we're going to have a 4th down here inside their own 20 again. This is going to be another punting situation for New Miami. Although the coaches are trying to get a third down instead of a fourth down. It is fourth down. We've seen 3 plays. I know what the confusion was. The confusion was because it was a second down play that got stuffed, followed by the personal foul penalty, so the down still counted, and the yardage was marked off afterwards. I'm going to be watching number 55, Ben Blickel, on this and seeing if he gets blocked a little better by the new Miami blocking, because he nearly blocked that first punt.
Here comes a punt by M. Moffitt. He was in there. He was in there again, Joel.
Just about.
And that ball bounces at the 45-yard line and takes a good kick for New Miami, and that is going to put New Bremen starting this drive at their own 42-yard line. We're going to step aside. It's New Bremen 14, New Miami nothing. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. Success Photo.
Welcome back to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. Mitchell Hayes with a quick pass to the right side to number 88, and that is Dan Homan. Dan Homan doesn't really get next to nothing there, so great pursuit by New Miami.
You know, when you are the stronger, more physical, more disciplined team like New Bremen appears to be, you can't win the speed battle against New Miami.
Right.
And running plays like that out to the sideline and trying to sneak the ball out and use the speed advantage is probably not going to be their best option. They need to be running the ball at the middle here.
There's Homan, sprint to the left side here. Another wide receiver sprint to the right. Mitchell Hayes takes the shotgun snap, rolls to the left. It hits number 7, and that's Joe Eisen Condon.
But there's going to be a flag behind the play.
Pardon me, that was number 9, Joel, as Nolan Bernhorst.
This is in the holding area, and it is holding on New Bremen. So the Cardinals have gotten the ball twice. They've done nothing but running plays up the middle, zone reads and such, and have driven it right down New Miami's throat twice. And they get the ball the third time and decide they're going to throw the ball. They've got one pass complete for 0 yards, and now a holding penalty to drive them back to a 2nd and 20.
Well, if there's anything that this play does for New Miami, it gives them a little bit of momentum in terms of grasping some life here in this first quarter. Momentum
and field position. Actually, it's going to be a little farther than 2nd and 20 because the hold was a couple yards in the backfield. Right. They'll assess the penalty from the spot of the hold. They get the down back. I think they could probably run the ball twice here and maybe pick it up the way that the first 2 drives have gone.
2nd down and about 22 here at the 31-yard line. And like you called it, there goes Mitchell Hayes with a nice little 12-yard scamper. Brings it up to the 42-yard line of New Bremen. Good run. Good. I tell you what, he's reading the defense of New Miami.
I think that was design quarterback draw.
Yep.
And you get about 12 yards on that. And if your team is averaging over 10 yards per carry, you can run the ball on 3rd and 10 here.
Here it comes.
New Miami's got to figure out a way to adjust to this defensively.
Well, it looks like New Miami's getting spread out on defense.
They are.
3rd down and 11 at the 41-yard line of New Bremen. New Bremen, this is the 3rd time they've had the ball, and we're reaching the 4-minute mark of this first quarter. 14-0. Cardinals over the Vikings. Shotgun is Mitchell Hayes, drops back, tosses it for a long deep ball, and that's going to be pass interference.
Yeah.
Ducking all day long.
Both referees had it from the back judge angle and the side judge angle, and he was absolutely being held. The receiver was Dan Homan on the play going out on that slant route, and he had no shot at catching that ball because the defensive back held him every step of the way.
No, I'm just trying to figure out whether or not Deonta Duncan had to hold him on that. I didn't think he had him beat, but
I am not convinced that New Bremen can throw the ball all over the field based on what we've seen on this drive. I'm not convinced that they're going to need to either, based on the way the running game is going. If you can force them into a passing situation, you must convert defensively because that's the way you can get their offense off the field. This running game, until you find a way to stop it, I doubt they'll throw the ball again on this drive.
On that Deonta Duncan pass interference call that brings the ball across the 50-yard line, New Bremen's got it at the 44 of New Miami. Shotgun, pistol formation is Mitchell Hayes. He gives it to Berkey up the middle, and he's slammed down by number 3, Danny Spivey, for a 1-yard gain.
That was the most effective run defense New Miami has shown all day. First negative run or 0-yard run for the Cardinal offense, and this is the adjustment New Miami's going to have to make. They've got to get off of these blocks. They've got to find a way to be able to bottle up this running game a little bit if they want to have any chance in this game.
3:38 left in this first quarter, 14-0 if you're just tuning in. New Bremen, 2 quick scores on the host New Miami Vikings. Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun, a little bit of a shotgun read formation here. In motion is number 3, Richter, and he's going to get that ball, and first down, Joel, for a 12-yard gain, pushing the chains again.
Redgerman, no problem. Jet sweep off the right side, and those linemen are out in space, and New Miami can't get off of these blocks. They're not even getting first contact on the running back until at least 5 yards upfield.
That's going to put the ball at the 32-yard line of New Miami. We're reaching the 3-minute mark of this first quarter. Thank you for tuning in to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. First playoff action here ever on this football field. There's number 14, Mitchell Hayes, takes a quarterback keeper to the right side after the shotgun, and he gets himself about 5 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and 5 at the 27-yard line.
The hard thing about this, and I've heard John Gruden talk about how much he loves the Wildcat because you put the quarterback way out in the side and he's got to still be guarded by a defender and it limits the people in the box. I'll say the same thing. When you line up with your quarterback in the shotgun and 5 wide receivers, you can only have a 6-man box.
Right. Well, it looks like New Miami is going to take a timeout here, maybe stop a little New Bremen momentum here. So we're going to take a break ourselves. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
All right, it's 14-0. New Bremen up on top of the New Miami Vikings in this Division VII Region 28 playoff opener. We just got an update from our sports reporter Theopolis Caldwell. Lakota West girls soccer is up on top of Anthony Wayne in the Division I state finals here. So looks like Lakota West drawing first blood there up in Columbus. Mitchell Hayes in a shotgun. Looking over to the right side, home run ball into the end zone, and it's intercepted, Joel! Intercepted! I think that's
Jonathan Duncan! There it is! His first catch of the game! On defense!
Well, that's the motivation and a little bit of momentum that New Miami needs to get something going there. Jesse Hubbard's got to be happy over there as New Miami's going to take over at their own 20-yard line.
I have no idea why New Bremen is throwing the football.
Well, I'm just looking at this. I know New Miami is a little bit of they're in space on defense. I just think that New Bremen's getting them out of position. I think that's what they're trying to do.
New Miami has the athletes in space to win one-on-one matchups. New Bremen's advantage is getting that offensive line going and playing as a 5-man unit.
Here comes that wing T formation. Nobody is split out.
No receivers at all.
No receivers. Trey Robinette, hand off to the left side. Looks like that is Spivey. One of the Spiveys, I'm not too sure, but that's a handoff up the middle, and it's going to be a 2-yard gain. We're going to call that handoff to that's Danny Spivey, number 3. That's a decent little 3-yard gain.
And here you go, Chris. This tells you all you need to know about how this game is going. That's New Miami's best offensive play of the game. And we both looked at that and thought, that looked pretty good. Yep. And then you look up at the scoreboard, it's still 2nd and 7.
I've always been one to preach that if you're getting 3-4-yard gains every play, I think you're a happy coach.
That's right. They need to keep doing that if they got to get yardage.
Trey Robinette drops back, tosses it, and that's tossed over the intended receiver of Danny Spivey, who was doing a little bit of an out route towards the 40-yard line, and that was actually almost intercepted there, Joel, if you looked at it right. He
overthrew his receiver, and Griffin Redgerman had a shot to dive and lay out full extension to pick it. He couldn't get a hold of it, but while that was an incomplete pass and nearly a pick, I think that's what New Miami's going to have to do more of. getting those receivers out in space, that might be the one thing you might be able to attack that I've seen so far in this first quarter of New Bremen is those individual matchups.
New Miami getting out of that wing T formation. Spread out a little bit of everywhere here for New Miami. Quick pass to the left side. Nice hitter to Danny Spivey. Spivey gets the first down. Moving the chains. Nice little quick pass to Danny Spivey there. Good
That's
read.
more like it. That's more like it. I mean, it's hard to say when you have two schools who have never played each other, who are 2 hours apart, and you know they'll never schedule each other for a non-conference game. It's kind of cool about the playoffs. You get to see somebody you'll never see. So it's a great mystery how this matchup will play out, but I think we've seen enough now to know that New Bremen is going to want to keep everything as tight as possible formationally and use the offensive line, and New Miami needs to spread out just like we saw right there in those type of wider formations, getting guys out in space.
Old school full house backfield.
Power team!
You gotta love it right here. Let's see what they're going to operate here outside of that. Handoff. Looks like it's going to be to Spivey up the middle and nothing going there. Stuffed up the middle.
Very tough sledding against that defensive line of the Cardinals. They're just big. They're immovable objects, and they shall not be moved.
I'll tell you what, let's go back to that quick pass that was to Danny Spivey.
Yeah.
I'm going to commend Trey Robinette on that because Trey Robinette saw that from the get-go.
Absolutely.
Nobody was on
Pre-snap read. That's the type of stuff that's going to work tonight. If New Miami's going to have any success offensively, they need spread formation. I'm going to call that right now, Chris. They need spread formation.
Ultimately, this game may lie in Trey Robinette's hands on the offensive side of things.
They're going to have to throw the ball.
Right.
A lot.
Trey Robinette under the center, receiver to the left, two to the right.
We're down to 15 seconds left in the quarter. Might be the last play of the quarter.
Yep, Robinette saw a little bit of something. He runs it up the middle, gets himself about, maybe we'll call that 2 yards to be generous there, and that's going to be the end of the first quarter, Joel.
They're trying so desperately to get anything going up the middle, and they're just having such tough sledding, Chris.
Well, that's going to run us to the second quarter here, 14-0. New Bremen up on top of New Miami. We're going to we're going to stay. We actually got a chance to talk to Jesse Hubbard of New Miami. We're going to see what he had to say prior to this opening contest.
New Miami football coach Jesse Hubbard. Jesse, it's week 11. Your New Miami Vikings, they got to be ready for this bad boy, huh?
Oh, yeah, they're excited. Good week of practice. Don't get me wrong, the team we're playing is good. And we got to play 4 quarters of mistake-free football, to move on, But our kids had a good week of practice, good preparation. We got a good game plan. So, they just got to go out there and execute, and we'll be fine.
What's cool about this game tonight is all the buzz happening throughout the week. How have the players responded to that? And, what kind of hype does that do for your team as well?
Oh, they love it. The community, they've stepped up in a huge, huge way with decorating the field, the city, and they weren't asked to do it. They organized on their own. Of course, today I had the kids out. We've eaten twice here today, and they see all the decorations, and they really appreciate what the community's done, and I think it reciprocates. The community appreciates what they're doing too. So it's just a neat situation right now, and the kids are hyped.
Well, Coach, good luck tonight.
All right, well, thank you.
3rd down and 7. Trey Robinette drops back to pass. Tries to hit Deonta Duncan. He's got it! Nice little home run ball. He's got the 10-5 touchdown! Deonta Duncan! There it is, the Deonta Duncan from Trey Robinette show, Joel.
The ball was actually a little underthrown, and he actually out-jumped the defensive back to tip the ball over the back's head and to himself. Defensive back slipped on the play, and Duncan was left wrangling the ball in, taking it to pay dirt. That is going to be how New Miami stays in this game. This is the strategy that Coach Hubbard must use. Duncan's going to have to be a big part of this.
Just 10 seconds running off the clock there, Joel, in the second quarter, and it is 14-6. Trey Robinette's going to line up for this extra point. A little bit of confusion here as New Miami's lining up for this kick. But you're right, Joel. I was looking at that pass. It was underthrown, but I think Deonta Duncan got himself in a little bit of a position there. Not going to say that he pushed off, but he was able to work himself into the position that he was able to go for that home run ball.
Man coverage. Our man is better than your man.
Kick is up, and it's good. Yeah, I remember we were talking about Trey Robinette on a little bit of a shaky kicking game there, but he's 1 for 1 tonight.
1 for 1.
New Miami strikes. New Bremen's up on top still on the Vikings. It's 14-7. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Welcome back to John P. Mara Field here in the village of New Miami, where New Miami puts themselves on the board on a Trey Robinette to Deonta Duncan touchdown pass connection, which has been seen all too often throughout this entire year for the New Miami Vikings. It was almost one of those things where it's like, when is it going to come? When are we going to see that happen?
I'm curious how much Coach Hubbard will try to stick with the running game.
A little squib kick from Trey Robinette, picked up by number 10, Ian Fry. Ian Fry, he's going to bring that across the 40-yard line. Still in New Bremen territory, so that's going to start New Bremen at the 41-yard line of their own.
Chris, what do you think the over-under is on this New Bremen drive for number of passing plays called?
Judging by what we've seen before, I don't think they're going to pass on this drive.
I would not throw the ball the rest of the game if I'm New Bremen, based on the first quarter only and what we've seen how this matchup is going to play out.
Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun, two wide receivers split to the left. Barking the cadence here, and once again, handoff up the middle. And nothing going, smothered up the middle for New Miami.
Interesting that the clock is being stopped. Okay, there was a helmet that flew off there.
I saw a helmet fly off.
That was Ocean Canyon.
Yeah.
What a great name. Ocean Canyon.
I wouldn't want to go up against him.
Yeah.
Well, he did make the tackle. That was a 1-yard gain. And New Bremen's going to take this second down and 8 opportunity at their own 42-yard line. We'll keep you updated as best we can regarding the Lakota West girls soccer program. They're battling Anthony Wayne up in Columbus for a Division I state title, and they're up 1-0 in the first half. Fake handoff, Mitchell Hayes going to take it himself, jumps and gets crunched, hits the ground hard for a 5-yard gain. No, not after a 5-yard gain.
That's right. They're getting pressure into the backfield a little bit, and they're getting contact on the runner within the first 2 or 3 yards of the run instead of the first 5 or 6. So Coach Hubbard's making a few defensive adjustments out here. They got to dig these linebackers a little bit in.
Huge third down and 5 for the New Bremen Cardinals.
Momentum play here.
If you're looking at it this way, New Miami would have to get a stop here if they want to continue this momentum. Crowds on their feet here in Mara Field. Here comes Mitchell Hayes, rolls to the left side after a shotgun here. Tosses it, wide open behind the defense. Number 19, Kyle Tankman. Nice little pitch and catch from Mitchell Hayes, and that's all the way down to the 20-yard line.
M. Moffitt on the tackle there, and that was a busted coverage.
Yeah.
No other way of saying it. Wide receiver got behind everybody. New Miami knows they've had trouble stopping the run this game. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows New Bremen's going to try to run the ball, and that's what caused the safety to come up into the box and bite the what was that, hand in the cookie jar or something?
Right, well,
something like that?
I was talking about that whole over-under with the pass. Well, there's our one
pass.
There's
the one.
Hand off to number 4. Wyatt Dickey bursts up the middle, and I think we're going to call that about a 5-yard gain, Joel.
And once again, nobody touches them at least until 5 yards upfield.
Right. I mean, you could drive a bulldozer through that.
The holes are huge. They are really legitimately huge. Shout out to all the New Bremen Cardinals offensive line. I'll get their numbers at some point in time. We'll give them a shout out on line here. They're doing work today, Chris.
Every lineman needs to get a little bit of a shout out here.
Without a holding penalty, right?
Right. At the 15-yard line, second down and 5. Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun for New Bremen. Man in motion to the left. Hand off to number 4, Dickey again. Jumps over the pile and gets crunched by number 12, Donovan Howard. Lays a licking on him, and that's going to be about a 1-yard gain. Brings up third down and 5 at the 14.
And a shout out to the defensive tackle, the big boy, Blake Hart. He actually got pancake blocked by his Cardinal offensive lineman, reached his hand up on his back and got a little piece of the leg of Dickey there, made him have to go a little wider and made the tackle a little easier for his teammate.
Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers, one split to the right, one to the left. Here comes the shotgun, handoff to Dickey up the middle. Dickey's going to see most of these handoffs, and I don't think he got it, Joel. And unless he's going to add that second push, right.
They kept driving him. He's just short. Just short. Not by much.
Yeah, we're looking at fourth and 1 from over here if you're seeing the change right, Joel.
I don't think New Bremen has taken a snap under center all day.
Well, let's see what Mitchell Hayes does, because this looks like it might be an under center quarterback sneak if you're asking me. But let's check this out. Number 28, Zach Berkey's in there. He may be the power back if you're going to end up looking for a run here.
This looks like a shotgun version of victory formation almost.
Interesting formation. Hand off to Berkey, and I don't know. He's a little weaving and dodging. I think he got him. New Miami got it! We didn't know what happened there, but he put the ball on the ground, and New Miami's got it on that 4th down play.
He got enough yards for the first down. You could see the lineman was going to mark him. The referee behind the play threw a beanbag. That shows that he saw the ball pop loose before the tackle was complete. Viking football.
Right, huge play for New Miami. And let's see what New Miami can do in terms of getting this ball back with a little bit of a response here. You're listening to Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. 8 minutes left to go in the second quarter. It's 14-7. New Bremen, quick 14 points. New Miami marching back here.
They've got their heels dug in a little bit.
Trey Robinette under center pitches it over to Danny Spivey, and I'm not sure he may have gotten probably, I would say, maybe 2 yards on that run.
Yeah, it's tough sledding. I mean, Coach Hubbard wants to establish the running game. I get that. I totally get that. It's not been easy, though. I think they got a generous spot. They're going to get about 4 yards there on that play. It's going to be really interesting because they need to get Duncan out in space, but they can't do it every play. So how are they going to balance that out and try to get the guy out in the open?
7:30 left to play in this first half. New Bremen, if you're just tuning in, 2 quick scores. But New Miami responds on the last drive with a long touchdown connection from Trey Robinette to Deonta Duncan. Deonta Duncan split to the left, and that's going to be a false start, play stoppage before it even starts.
It might be it's offsides.
Oh, offsides.
It might be an offsides.
Or maybe, yeah.
Looks like the lineman was coming in with his hands on his hips, and they're going to mark it against the Cardinals.
That's still going to bring up second down, and I'd say maybe about 1 or 2 here.
That's very helpful for New Miami.
Absolutely.
They don't have good field position here, but they at least have a good down and distance to work with.
You don't have to get too crazy on this. If you just want to try and move the chains, just plunge Trey Robinette up the middle, if you ask me.
It's very difficult to do because they're not getting a lot of push on that.
Right.
But I know what you're saying. You'd like to be able to run some sort of quarterback sneak or something here.
Got to give Sean LaFleur a big shout out. He's a big boy up there in the trenches on top of the center there.
They're going to try to throw it here.
Yeah, nice little quick toss to Danny Spivey from Trey Robinette. First down, push the chains. That's a small game, minimal amount of game, but it's still enough to push the chains, Joel. That's dropped down at the 23-yard line.
I think Gruden calls that somewhat spider-wide banana or something like that. You got the tight end or the fullback slipping out of the backfield into the flat. You had Deonta Duncan over the top, so the defense had to respect it. Hit the nice, easy pass for Robinette. First down for New Miami.
6:30 left to play in the second quarter. New Bremen up on top of New Miami. 14-7. Trey Robinette under center. Man in motion from right to left. Robinette drops back, looking for a receiver. A little toss-up, throwing it up there, and Deonta Duncan and his defender go up for that home run ball. Trying to meet at the highest point, but nothing going. Ball drops on the ground.
You know, you can pity New Miami's defensive line and their assignment tonight. But you also have to pity Nate Allig of the Cardinals and his assignment tonight playing man coverage against Deonta Duncan. It's not easy. And even though that was an incomplete pass, we need to see several more of those. Absolutely. That's going to be New Miami's best chance to get some points on the board or move the ball into better field position.
And it was the only play that's put points on the board for New Miami here. Trey Robinette under center, wing T formation here, and we've also got Deonta Duncan split to the left side.
Double handoff.
A little bit of double handoff. It ended up getting in Donovan Howard's hands, and that's going to be about an 8-yard gain. Brings up third down and about 1. Good little, neat little trickery play there.
Little trickeration there. Kettering Alters, Ed Domsides would be very proud of that. Third, and here we go again with the same distance we had earlier. You could try to run it up the middle. You can also try a play action and see if you can go deep on this. Third, and not a very long one at all.
Trey Robinette's under center. Let's see what he's going to do. He's going to take it himself, finds a little bit of hole, and I think maybe he got a little bit of a foot. I don't know, Joe.
Yeah. I don't think he got any yardage at all on that, Chris. I think it's going to be fourth down.
But if you're looking at the yard marker compared to where the line, I think it might be.
Are they going to measure?
It might suffice a measurement here.
They are going to bring the chains out.
Here we go. The officials timeout to bring the chains out. And Trey Robinette tried to find a little bit of a hole there, but nothing going. We'll see if it was enough, however.
This sets up a very interesting dilemma for Coach Hubbard if they don't get it. Do you go for it on fourth and a couple inches, knowing how sturdy that defensive line is for New Bremen, or do you punt the ball? We'll see if Coach Hubbard has to make that decision here.
I think you try and do the same thing.
He got it.
First down, New Miami pushing the chains. 5:25 left to play in the second quarter. 14-7 New Bremen. New life for New Miami.
Coach Hubbard will not have to make that decision. He'll get a new set of downs, and New Miami's offense will stay on the field. Here's another advantage of this, too. If they can keep their offense on the field, less plays that Mitchell Hayes and the New Bremen offense can run. Little ball control goes a long way when you're playing against a good running game like the Cardinals. Sure. I give New Miami all the credit in the world.
Absolutely.
They're digging into this game.
Absolutely.
They got shocked early, and they've handled adversity pretty well.
You know, I don't know if you want to say getting out some of those jitters and getting a little bit of a football mood here. I mean, this is week 11. You try and think about it as being no different than week 1. So
that's right.
And that's a crunch. Good defensive play on Donovan Howard after a handoff. I'm trying to figure out who that was. Who was that made that crunch?
That's our friend, Ben Blickel. We caught his name out more than anybody else in this game, and he's a defensive linebacker. I mean, he has been everywhere in this game, Chris. Ben Blickel is a junior from New Bremen. Plays a little offensive line, a little linebacker on defense.
I tell you what, he's been a sight to see.
Oh, he's everywhere.
On this New Bremen defense. Brings up second down and 13 for New Miami. Deonza Duncan's going to be split to the right. And you got about a 3-backfield set here. Deonza Duncan is going to be looking for this pass from Trey Robinette. Nice quick pass, but it's short-handed to him. Incomplete, Joel.
Offensive line has got to try to protect Robinette a little bit better on that rollout. He actually got stopped in the backfield, had to kind of pull himself back toward the pocket to launch that pass. Just a little bit hurries him and hurries that throw for Robinette. He had a chance to get Duncan for a big yardage play there, but not easy to get the ball off.
4:17 showing on this second quarter clock. It's still 14-7 New Bremen on top of New Miami in this Division VII Region 28 regional quarterfinal. Here at John P. Merrifield. Joe, it's the first ever home playoff game for the New Miami contingent, so that's pretty cool to see.
And you could tell with all the shops being closed and all the people being here, all the parking problems that have been had on 127.
But I tell you what, I wouldn't call them problems because I tell you, they're doing a fantastic job.
It's a problem you would like to have, right?
Right, yeah, good call. Stop
Timeout, Vikings.
Timeout. Jesse Hubbard and company, they're going to take this into a huddle here and discuss what they're going to do on this third down and long situation. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student-athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student-athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Welcome back to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. Third down and about 14 for New Miami here. And another stoppage in the play. Hankey on the field. False start New Miami. That's going to be big-time trouble there for this one.
3rd and 18. And you see Blickel there on defense. He's foaming at the mouth. He's raising his hands up now, trying to get the New Bremen faithful to be louder here on the visiting field. My goodness.
Man, if Blickel was in front of me, I'd be jumping too.
He's everywhere, man. You got Eric Hickey over covering this game on the sideline. He's commenting on Twitter about Blickel. You got our Lima radio broadcaster behind us talking about it. Obviously, we're seeing the same thing everyone else is seeing. You know, he's everywhere on this field, man.
Here comes third down and about, we'll call it 18 for New Miami here. They're pinned back at their own 25-yard line. Robinette drops back, gets a little bit of better protection. Heaves it deep. DeAndre Duncan, no goal, and tried to hit him in stride here. New Miami's trying to look for a flag here, but there's nothing going on. I wouldn't call that.
Well, New Bremen has made a coaching adjustment on DeAndre Duncan here. They're not leaving him in man coverage. I think it's very smart to not leave DeAndre Duncan in man coverage. There were two receivers that could have possibly had made a play on that ball for New Miami, and four defensive backs in the same area.
Well, it brings up fourth down and about eternity for New Miami here, pinned back at their own 26-yard line, and I think that's an easy call there. Punt away.
You punt the football.
Yeah, and Moffitt's back to punt for New Miami.
New Bremen's two return men lined up at the New Miami 49-yard line.
And we've got another timeout by Jesse Hubbard. You know, I tell you what, Jesse Hubbard's calling. If you're calling timeouts, you've got 4:10 left. Do you imagine you're going to get the ball before the end of the half? You might as well use your timeouts in some form of timely fashion here.
Well, I think that's his third one he's taken. So he's out. He's out of timeouts. New Bremen will have control of the ball after this punt, and they'll be able to control the clock with however fast or slow they would like to progress, with New Miami having nothing to be able to do to control that. The Vikings, if they get the ball back, are going to be placed in a situation they're going to be passing the ball every down if they get it for that last possession, because without any timeouts, you can't afford to be tackled short of the first down.
Well, if you're looking at it this way, I think Jesse Hubbard's setting himself up to just, hey, let's play defense and let's prevent them from scoring and take it into the half.
If you can get to the half 14-7 after the way this first quarter started, you'll feel pretty good about that.
That's a win. And Moffitt back to punt here, gets a snap. And Blickel was in there, but he didn't get too far in there, though. But he was making a presence. Ball passes the 50-yard line midfield, and that's going to be pinned down at the 47-yard line. And, yeah, that's where New Bremen's going to start this drive here, Joel.
The New Bremen Cardinals, and I got to say, from what I've seen in this game, Chris, the least scared group of people here is New Bremen. New Miami, this crowd is electric. This is nothing like they've ever seen before. New Bremen, they deal with this 4 times a year in conference road games. It's nothing new. So the fact that New Miami could adjust themselves to the environment, they've done a very good job of settling down.
Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun, 3 wide receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. He's going to take himself, and he gets himself about a 15-yard gain until he's dropped down past the 40-yard line across midfield. First down, drops him down to 37-yard line, Joel. First down and 10 for New Bremen.
Quarterback draw and 3 different pancake blocks on that play for the Cardinals. You saw 3 horizontal white jerseys laying over top of 3 black jerseys.
Where's the syrup?
Wait a minute.
Where's
My
the syrup and butter?
What hole do you want to run through, Mitchell Hayes? You got your choice at that point, right?
2 wide receivers split to the left, 1 to the right. Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun, nobody around him. He's in the shotgun by himself. Snap. Little quick toss over to the number 28, Berkey. Berkey taking himself, but he's slammed down by number 2, DeAndre Duncan, but not after a healthy 8-yard gain, Joel.
Easy toss and catch out of the backfield. Duncan had to wait. He has probably guarding the wide receiver on the perimeter, then came up to make the tackle when it was thrown to the unguarded running back coming out of the backfield.
That puts the ball at the 31-yard line. New Bremen trying to get a little bit of momentum heading into this halftime break.
And they don't need to hurry. They got 3 minutes still. And New Miami has no timeouts.
And New Bremen's got all their timeouts, too.
That's right. They don't need to hurry.
2 wide receivers, 1 right, 1 left. Hand off to number 28, Berkey. And he gets stopped. And I don't know, there's a flag on the play. He only got a 1-yard gain on that. We're going to see what what the guys in white and black are going to call here.
Jerry Helton snuck in there and got a little lick on him for the tackle. That was what upended him. Chop block. Defense.
Ouch. Well, that's going to push New Bremen further into New Miami territory here. Now you're breaking out the official.
I am.
Signal.
Taking a look at that. That looks like the signal for chop block, but that's typically something you see called on the offense rather than on the defense. So,
do you have like every handbook in terms of high school athletics in your bag or something, or what?
Hermione Granger, Accio referee handbook. That should be a pretty decent sized penalty, though.
And it looks like, because you're looking at this first down and 10 opportunity for New Bremen at the 16-yard line, and you still got 2:51 left to go in the second
clock
quarter.
is going to wind on the ready for play, which it is now. And again, New Bremen should not really hurry up and snap this thing quickly.
There's no reason. Shotgun Mitchell Hayes, 2 wide receivers, 1 split to the right, 1 to the left. Mitchell Hayes doing a little bit of barking. He's got the snap. Hand off to number 4, Dickey. Dickey going to take himself, bouncing around here, and he gets himself about, we'll call that 3-yard gain, down to the 13-yard line.
Easy run, easy play, and New Miami had enough pressure in there to at least wrap them up.
Right.
They didn't touch them until 3 yards downfield, but they did wrap them up right away. You're seeing fewer broken tackles as this game is going along. They may not be touching them right away, but when they get to them, they are wrapping them up.
Well, it looks like New Miami is doing a little bit of containment, play a little bit of contained defense.
It's helping. It really is helping.
Prevent a long play. So it's going to be second down and about 7 at the 13-yard line. Hazen shotgun. He keeps it himself to the left. He sees a little bit of running room, a little pursuit, but I don't think he's going to get it pushed out of bounds before the yard marker. He may have gotten a 5-yard gain, but I'm going to call that third down and 1, Joel.
Knee went down right before he went out of bounds, which is why the clock will continue to run here. We're down below a minute and a half left to go in the first half. 3rd and 2?
Yeah, we'll call it 3rd and 2 at the 8-yard line inside the 10.
New Bremen's got their entire playbook open to them right now.
Yep. And nobody back to help out Mitchell Hayes in terms of blocking, so we got 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Everybody else is on the line. Hayes takes it himself, and he's got himself some room. Gets hit hard, and Donovan Howard into the end zone. Drags Howard in with him. Touchdown, Cardinals.
That looked very similar to a touchdown New Bremen scored earlier in this game, where the quarterback had the ball, or I think it might have been the running back had the ball, gets hit around the 2-yard line and just continues to use that big frame and work the body into the end zone.
If you're Mitchell Hayes and you've got an opportunity to kind of take it yourself, I'm gonna blame the New Miami defensive line just not being able to get a little bit of a push on those big, healthy New Bremen linemen. Kick is up, and it's good. I think he actually tripped and fell on that kick and still got it up. New Bremen notches another touchdown on the scoreboard, and that marks it at 21-7 with 1:08 left to go in this second quarter. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Reports YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports, results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game. We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to New Miami. In the village. Tell you what, Joel, the atmosphere since we've been here has been electric. New Bremen's packing the sidelines.
Every bit as many people on the other side as on this home sideline.
A lot of them are coming in probably from that state finals victory.
Volleyball game, yeah.
That's returned by DeAndre Duncan. And I tell you what, there was all 11 New Bremen tacklers on that kickoff team taking down Duncan. Duncan had nowhere to go.
Brankston Krause gets credit for the tackle because he was the first one there. Had he not been the first one there, somebody else would have gotten credit with the tackle. There was nowhere for Duncan to be able to go. And yes, that's this New Bremen crowd on the visiting sideline. They're about 5 people deep there in the one corner. I mean, how can you see anything? It's crazy.
Hey, get down in front. New Miami's going to start this drive at the 20-yard line with minimal amount of time left here in this first half.
How aggressively you want to play this, Chris?
If you're Hubbard, I say a couple runs, taking to the halftime break. You don't want a mistake here.
Yeah, New Bremen, they got 3 timeouts still?
Yeah, they do.
They might be able to get the ball back.
True.
If New Miami's too conservative.
But you've got one-on-one with Duncan and Nick, is it Allig?
Yeah, Nick Allig. One-on-one. Is Hayes going to come back and cover?
Oh, but here's a fumble, Joel! Right out of the freaking gun there.
Look who comes out with that ball.
Is that
That would be number 55, Ben Blickel.
He smells everything, even the ball.
We're going to start calling him Visa because he's everywhere you want to be.
Right.
I don't know that Trey Robinette ever even got that snap cleanly, or if he fumbled on a handoff there. It's hard to see with all those bodies, but the ball ended up hitting the turf right around the center quarterback exchange point, and Blickel fell right on top of it.
Well, Mitchell Hayes is going to take this snap in the shotgun at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for the New Bremen Cardinals. Drops back, takes it himself. Keeper weaving and dodging, but he's upended. Not until after he got about a 9-yard gain, Joel, and the clock is ticking under 50 seconds left.
New Bremen finally took a timeout. They took a while to decide to do that, but they called it now.
I think you're looking okay with 48 seconds left. It's going to be 2nd down and 2 when New Bremen comes out of this break. We're going to take another quick break. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
All right, 48 seconds left to play in this first half. New Bremen trying to make a little bit of a statement before the first half ends here. They're down at the 10-yard line, 2nd down and 2. Handoff up the middle is, I think we've got Dickey. And he stood up by the new Miami Vikings, but not until after he's got about a 5-yard gain and a 1st down, Joel.
1st down will stop the clock, and if New Bremen is well coached, they will have had 2 plays called there so that they won't need to take another timeout. Looks like we got a New Bremen lineman down, injured, so that situation's not going to even have to factor into play here. They'll have all the time they need to talk about their 1st and goal play for the Cardinals. Can't see the number there for that New Bremen guy that's on the ground, but I think it's an offensive lineman there, Chris.
Theopolis Caldwell reporting from Columbus Crew Stadium. Lakota West is up on top of Anthony Wayne 1-0 as they're entering the second half of the Division I Girls Soccer State Finals.
The New Bremen lineman that's down is Blickel.
Oh, that's our guy.
That's our guy.
Oh, but I can tell you what, he gets up and runs off. So he's okay.
The New Bremen fans are very happy to see him jogging off on his own power. That is one guy you cannot afford to lose.
I heard
the Cardinals.
I heard a dainty cheer from that sideline too.
They knew what was going on.
Stud, man. He's a stud.
He is an absolute stud. No doubt about it. He's a junior.
I want to thank you for listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt, alongside our main man, Joel Sackenheim. He knows everything about the state of Ohio in terms of high school athletics. Boy, oh boy, you set us up as we are entering in this playoff season here. Mitchell Hayes in shotgun, man in motion. Hand off to number 19. That's going to be Tankman. But Tankman gets himself about, let's see, I would call that one, Joel, before New Miami wraps him up on the left side.
New Bremen's going to think about it for a second and then take their second time out here with 16 seconds left.
You know, New Bremen's playing this correctly. I'd imagine they may be setting up. Say, hey, I was watching the field goal kicker kick and has a decent amount of a foot on him.
He had a decent leg. He did. They're going to have a 3rd down play here. I believe they got one more timeout left, so that their entire playbook is still open to them. I would not be surprised to see a 5-wide receiver set, quarterback power, quarterback draw with Mitchell Hayes. It seems to be what they like to run in this situation. We've seen that a few times today. And Mitchell Hayes is so big that he drags people with him into the end zone on that particular type of run. It's 2nd down, about what, the 6-yard line?
Yep. 2nd down and 6. Was that 2nd down to go?
Well, if you call a passing play here and it's incomplete, that allows you a 3rd down play without using a timeout. Gives you 2 shots at the end zone here. Right. If you call the running play, you're going to use your last timeout. Then you're going to be down around 10 seconds left, and then you might either have to kick or you have to tell them that they're calling a passing play. And New Bremen is definitely more comfortable running the football than passing it.
Absolutely. Well, with the amount of push that their offensive linemen are giving them, yeah, that's definitely a no-brainer.
A pass would not be horrible here. Uh-oh. Whistle by the referee. The linesman comes in, and he wants to have a conversation with the referee about something. Probably a substitution related.
All right, now he's using hand gestures. Can you look at the official's gesture book on what he's doing there?
Well, it looked like he had both hands kind of going in a circle, but with the fingers sticking out, which looked a little more substitution related than a false start type of situation where the fists were all closed up there. Now talking to Coach Hubbard on the sideline.
See, I knew you'd have the answer to that, Joel.
And Coach Hubbard is not amused as he's walking back to the sideline. I don't know what he was told, but he didn't have a lot to say back. No air horn. Looks like we're going to have the PA announcer talking about not using an air horn. An air horn stoppage, Chris Vogt.
Yeah, that's probably a first in New Miami.
Yeah, you can ring a cowboy, but no air horn. Cowbells are okay, apparently.
Mr. Krause up here giving us the word of wisdom. Mitchell Hayes nowhere near a New Miami Viking defender, and he runs it in for a 6-yard scamper. Touchdown, Cardinals, 27-7 as we're entering in the halftime break.
The closest New Miami Viking would have needed to go Michael Jordan at the end of Space Jam to be able to touch him with his arm. I mean, there was nobody even close. You could have driven a 53-foot trailer through that hole.
You could have done that quite a few times throughout this entire contest.
Yeah, that was a particularly big hole there.
Well, Mitchell Hayes finds the end zone. Snap, kick, up. And I tell you what, he's money on those kicks.
Automatic, no problem, no concern. We got 11 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yeah, that boots it up to 28-7. New Bremen up on top of the New Miami Vikings. We're going to take a quick break as we wrap up this first half. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Reports YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Welcome back to the Village, where it is New Bremen up on top of the New Miami Vikings, 28-7. We're winding down in this first half here. 11 seconds left to play. New Bremen chalks up another. It was a small drive, but a reasonable drive for a score here. A small squib kick by number 3 picks it up. Spivey gets himself a little bit of running room, and he's going to take it to the 50, the 40. The 30!
You got to score. They're out of time.
Yep, he ran out of time there, but a decent run all the way down to the New Bremen 20-yard line, but that's going to be the end of the first half, Joel.
Clock runs out. Yep. Good return, all for naught. Vikings will not be able to have any chance to capitalize on anything on that return. I'm surprised New Bremen didn't just kick the ball out of bounds, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break here as we are heading into the half. It's New Bremen 28, New Miami 7.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the Village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll. And most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Welcome back to New Miami, where it is 28-7. The new Bremen Cardinals are up on top of the New Miami Vikings. Well, Joel, we were talking at the break. You're seeing a number 8 seed team playing a number 1 seed team, and I think you can look at numbers being deceiving in that aspect. Tell us why, Joel.
Well, I cover a lot of Baden football, as you know. I'm a proud Baden Ram alum, and I've seen Baden do this 3 different times over the years, as a 7th seed against an undefeated Valley View, as a 7th seed against an undefeated Clinton Massey, and as an 8th seed when they were 5-5 one year. But back in 2010, they went up to face a 10-0 Richwood North Union team, about a half an hour northwest of Columbus, 2.5-hour bus ride up there. And what happens in those type of games is that Baden will have played a GCL schedule. They'll have played Alter, they'll have played Chaminade, Julian, and those type of opponents. And so they show up at a team that has been much less tested, even though undefeated, right. Weaker schedule, and okay, everybody else is like, wow, we're 10-0, we're Valley View, we're 10-0, we're North Union, And Baden steps on the field and says, okay, you're not Alter.
Right.
All right, you're not CJ.
Yep.
And what you saw the first 4 minutes of this game was New Bremen walking right out here into the middle of the most hostile environment the village could possibly provide for them, looking around, shrugging their shoulders and saying, you're not Coldwater.
Yep.
You're not Marion local, you're not Anna.
Yep.
And that has been basically the difference at the beginning of this game when New Bremen got a 14-0 lead before New Miami could blink. New Miami, I have to give them all the credit in the world for digging their heels in when they did, stopping the bleeding when they could, fight and claw their way back into this game. They had it 14-7 and had the ball at one point in time, but giving up a touchdown late in the second quarter, then coughing up the football and having Ben Blickel be able to pounce on it and set New Bremen up for that last touchdown. If it was 14-7 at halftime, Coach Hubbard could feel really, really good about where he's at. But giving up the one touchdown and then really shooting yourself in the foot to give up the second one late, now all of a sudden it's 28-7. All the progress that you made to get yourself back into the game is now for naught. It's all gone, and New Bremen has to just feel really good about themselves now, with a chance to go into the regional semifinals against Lima Perry next week.
Yeah, well, we're going to still look at the score being 28-7. Hey, we're not going to push anybody to the next round yet.
Well, of course not.
But
absolutely.
But looking at it this way, if you're New Miami, it's almost like you're getting punched to the gut in your own little home first time seeing a playoff contest here at John P. Mayer Field. Will they be able to get that breath back?
Well, it's going to depend upon how the second half starts. New Miami has one nice advantage going their way, and that is that New Bremen got the ball to start the game, so New Miami will have it to start the second half. They're going to need to get the spread offense going. They're going to need to get the ball into the hands of DeAnza Duncan, and they're going to need to score quickly to try to get this thing to where they feel like, all right, we can maybe still come back. A 21-point deficit is not impossible, not by any stretch.
Well, yeah, now I was going to say, I want to interrupt you there, but New Miami is a long yardage score team. So
that's exactly right,
and that's how they have that number 7 on the scoreboard as well.
With the one long strike to Duncan, and that's what they need to do. I mean, they need to get him out in space. They need to take advantage of the opportunity. The hard thing is that the later this game goes, they're going to have a harder and harder time against New Bremen's defense. Because if it becomes very obvious that you cannot run the ball based on the clock situation, then they can really start backing off their defense, start double covering Duncan, start running different zones over the top to make sure that Duncan can't beat his man, Alec, on one-on-one coverage, and knowing that our boy Ben Blickel can still get into the backfield and cause all kinds of trouble if New Miami should try to throw a draw play in there somewhere.
Well, you basically told the tale there, and looking at the scoreboard, it should be 28-7. It legitimately should be 28-7.
New Bremen has outplayed them. I would think that if New Miami could at least not shoot themselves in the foot with the bad turnover, 21-7 might have been a reasonable thing to look at. The fact that it's 28 instead of 21 has got to just get under Coach Hubbard's skin, because that's a freebie that they gave him that they really didn't need to give him.
Well, you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network halftime show here in the village of New Miami, where it is New Miami trailing the New Bremen Cardinals 28-7 at the half. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. We'll talk all county football here in a second, and we'll also give you an update on the Lakota West girls soccer team as they were trying to capture a Division I girls state soccer championship. Hang right here. 28-7 New Bremen over New Miami.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports, and let family, friends, and your school vote in the report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Welcome back to New Miami, where it is New Bremen up on top of the New Miami Vikings, 28-7. Joel, we just went through a little bit of as the reason why we're sitting at 28-7. So let's go ahead and pinpoint exactly what's going on around the county and what happened last night. We saw, you saw Baden.
Do you want to start, since we got the New Bremen, New Miami crowd listening? You want to start with
absolutely,
a quick scoreboard update from Division VII?
Yeah,
let's go that, and then we'll go to Butler County.
Do it.
All right. So earlier today, you had CCPA was also hosting a playoff game. That's crazy. I saw a story being run on them. They practice on a softball field. I don't know if you knew that or not. They don't have goalposts or anything, and it's a great story. Their first home playoff game, Lima Perry came down and beat them 44-0 this afternoon over at Summit Country Day High School. So the 5 seed is already through, and Lima Perry is an interesting team because they lost their first 3 games, including to 1-9 Delphus Jefferson, and then they have not lost since. So I don't know if there was an injury in play there or something that made them play so poorly the first 3 games, or maybe it's a Coach Jordy coaching strategy or something. But Lima Perry's on fire. They'll play the winner of this one. And then in the bottom half of the bracket, Marion Local is up on Mississinawa Valley, 35-0 at the half.
Wow.
They're going to have a running clock in the second half of that game as the 2 seed. And Fort Loramie is up 14-0 over the Hardin Northern Polar Bears at the end of the first quarter. So that's what stands in Division 7, Region 28.
Good call. Well, we're going to skip a gear here and head on over to the Butler County action from last night. Joel, you were at Virgil Swarm Stadium.
I was not. I was driving a semi-truck and got back late.
Oh, you got back late.
Had to go to the radio station and see it on Twitter.
Oh, I thought I for some reason I thought you were going to be over there, but
I was planning on it.
No, I mean, judging by what the Baden Rams and Ross Rams did in contest in Chapter 1 of this season, did you see a little bit of an opportunity for Nick Yordy and the Baden Rams, to do a little bit of changing after that?
Well, I was not surprised. Coach Ralph Lunsford from Edgewood and I actually had a conversation about this week, where he thought Ross might beat Baden, and I thought Baden might win the game, and pretty handily. Yeah. The difference was this: Ross was pretty much the same team that they were in Week 1. What they did in Week 1 was wonderful, and it kept them all the way through an 8-2 season. Coach Commons has absolutely made tremendous tracks on that, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in future years.
Right.
But in the meantime, Baden was totally a different team from Week 1. Coach Jordy's coaching adjustment going to a spread offense has made all the difference with that personnel there at Baden this year. The fact that they got a kickoff return touchdown and a punt return touchdown, which is icing on the cake for Baden, that was the part that surprised me. That obviously those are kind of flukish plays that you don't expect one way or the other. But Baden absolutely outplayed Ross in every element of that game. Total domination. They're the 4th seed.
Yep.
They advance to the next round. The top 3 seeds all loose.
They're gone.
Wapak is gone. Franklin is gone, and Chaminade Julien is gone, leaving Alter to play Baden next week, the 8th seed.
Well, that should be interesting to kind of keep an eye on there. I don't know where that game is going to be played at. Have they announced where that Baden...
They have not announced it yet. I believe on Sunday or Monday the OHSAA announces all neutral sites. Everything is neutral site from here on out.
Yep.
Which is kind of a shame in a way, because Baden would get to host the next 2 rounds otherwise as the 4th seed. But Alter's a tricky team to figure out. It's not your traditional powerhouse that you have normally seen. This might be Coach Ed Domesice's finest coaching job at Alter, because he's had to patch it together a lot more with duct tape, and I don't know that he's got the same horses that he normally has.
Right.
They lost 4 games in a row. They lost to Columbus St. Francis de Sales. It's their last non-conference game. Then they go into the GCL Co-Ed and lose to Baden, Fenwick, and Carroll back-to-back weeks, and everybody leaves them for dead. They regrouped against McNicholas in Week 9, and then they have beaten CJ now at their stadium back-to-back weeks. One a high-scoring game, one a low-scoring game. And so the question in my mind is this, and I don't know the answer. I mean, I could tell you with Baden-Ross that Ross was the same team as in Week 1 and that Baden was a different team. With Baden-Alter, you've got the similar scenario, but Baden is kind of taking Ross's place there as far as they lost to Alter for 20 straight years, 22 straight games or whatever, and now they finally have beaten Alter, and now they got to see him a second time in the season. And we don't know if Alter is the same team that lost 42-7 to them the first time. One of 2 things has happened. Either Alter has gotten a lot better,
right,
either by scheme, coaching, or injury recovery, or maybe it's just simply that Alter is a really good personnel matchup with CJ.
Right.
And if Alter matches up with CJ really well, and that's the only thing that's going on there, then Baden could very easily blow him out a second time. If Alter's made the coaching adjustments that are legitimately a lot better than they were playing in the middle of the season, Baden's going to have a challenge on their hands next weekend.
We'll keep an eye on the Division III playoffs here around the area. Skipping a beat to the Division I, we'll do it rather quickly, but you saw Butler County rivalry for a second time this season. It was the Hamilton Big Blue falling to the hot Fairfield Indians and Jason Krause. And I tell you what, though,
it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy, and we're not going to take anything away in terms of what Coach Nate Mahan has done for the Big Blue this year.
And I believe Hamilton was leading that game at halftime.
They were.
So let's not pretend like Fairfield blew them out when you just look at the final score. Hamilton came to play, and Fairfield had to find a way to win that game without Jaton McLean.
Well, and the second half, and I'm going to point this out because I kind of made a comment about this last night. Even if you're winning at the half, you still have to make adjustments.
That's correct.
I feel as though Hamilton probably didn't make adjustments. I wasn't there.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, Jacob Bingham wasn't there. But for Fairfield to come out blazing like that in the second half, something gave.
Yeah, I guess Coach Krause probably made adjustments. It's probably easier to make the adjustments when you're the losing team.
Right.
If you've got a game plan that you know is going to work, and then you roll out the game plan and it works flawlessly, very difficult to make an adjustment at halftime there and say, well, we're going to go away from... But then at the same time, when Fairfield then comes out differently and throws the ball a little more, whatever they did to adjust to that game, very difficult then when you don't have another halftime ahead of you to make a change. You know, so kind of caught Mahan in a weird spot there where everything's going well. I'm kind of curious. I think a lot of this Fairfield-Coleraine rematch is going to come down to the health of Jaton McLean.
He did not play yesterday. He did not play yesterday.
He did not play at all yesterday.
Smart move.
Well, Coach Krause says that he's going to play next week. We'll take him at his word. We'll see as that updates. But he's probably not going to be 100%.
Right.
Is he going to be 90%? Is he going to be 50%? How much of a percent of McLean do you need in order to beat Coleraine? Because you saw they took Coleraine to overtime and gave them everything they could handle, only having a healthy McLean for a quarter and a half last weekend.
Well, that gives you a little bit of a rundown in terms of the Fairfield-Hamilton side of things. Fairfield advances and will take on Coleraine like we were talking about for a second time as well this season in regional So that would be the
Division I, Region 4.
Division I, Region 4. Talking about Lakota West, the football program, Tom Bolden comes in. Tom Bolden just is a mastermind in terms of taking a program.
He's an excellent
from
coach.
Shambles, literally was shambles to a Division I Region 4 contender.
He had him at the 5 seed this year, and nothing to be ashamed of at all there for Lakota West. Had they been able to beat Princeton in Week 9, they actually would have still had a shot at a home game in Week 10. Of course, that all went by the wayside. There was no chance to be able to do that.
You probably still would have been playing Elder.
Yeah, you probably, with Elder losing. You know, they would have also depended upon what Coleraine would have done to Fairfield. They would have needed Coleraine to lose that game. Had Coleraine lost to Fairfield, it would have actually been Coleraine playing Lakota West.
Gotcha.
And they would have had that home game.
That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been pretty cool.
That would really need to see.
Coach, they were looking at that as a very real possibility. Did not end up working out that way, as Elder ended up losing their game to LaSalle, and that bumped Elder down to the 4 line. That's why Lakota West had to go to the pit instead of to Coleraine to play that game last night.
And that's not easy to do.
The pit is not easy to do at all. And now we're going to have 2 semis, Fairfield-Coleraine rematch. That's your GMC semi, essentially. Yep. And then you got your GCL South semi with St. X and Elder. And let's be real, as we're looking at the mathematical Harbin points all year long, those 4 teams, Coleraine, Fairfield, St. X, and Elder, had such a chasm between them and everybody else that once Lakota West lost to Princeton, those 4 teams are already locked into the home games without even having to play a Week 10 game yet. And so it's really not all that surprising in this particular region, although Joe Idle tells me this is the first time in God knows how many years in all 4 regions of Division I, the 4 home teams won.
Wow.
So the top 4 seeds advanced without being upset in all 4 corners of the state in Division I.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, Joel, we're going to get set to kick off this second half here. New Miami is going to get the ball in the second half, so that's one of the upsides since you're down 28.
You need this drive. You need this drive.
You know, every drive is going to be huge from here on out. But if you want to actually make a statement heading out of the break, this is the one. This is the one you want to do in it.
Given that New Bremen has gotten their running game going so well, you can ill afford to give them the ball down 3 scores. You know. You got to get back into it, and you got to do it sooner rather than later. Urgency for the Vikings.
Yeah, we could easily make slips and say New Bremen instead of New Miami, but
I know it's so difficult.
But I tell you what, I don't think we've done it yet. We've caught ourselves, but I do want to know how many times I'm going to listen to the broadcast. How many times we've said new tonight? New.
Lots of new.
Lots of new.
There's no old Bremen or old Miami in this battle here.
Right.
And this is a new thing, with New Miami having their first home game, and for New Bremen, their first time in the playoffs since 2004.
Yeah,
they've also risen their program out of the ashes a little bit.
Yep, all this is fresh tonight, and actually, you know, every side of the spectrum, both New Bremen and New Miami, they've all been soaking it in. It's been a really good sight to see. I think the referees had a little bit of a
They're on the wrong side of the field. Yeah, exactly. No, I was talking to our Lima broadcasters that are broadcasting the game for the northern area of the state behind us. They actually said that New Bremen had the opportunity a few years ago when their program was really down to get out of the Midwest Athletic Conference. They had the opportunity, and they actually decided to stay in the conference. They just thought that being able to play games against Coldwater, Anna, and Minster, yes, it makes it harder to get into the playoffs, but if you can get in, as you see tonight, you are battle-tested and ready to go.
And you can see the result tonight. You're exactly right. Well,
there is no environment that you can face that it's going to be too difficult for you.
New Bremen set to kick off the second half here. They're up on top 28-7. I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. You're tuning in to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. Deonta Duncan takes the return at the 20-yard line for New Miami. A little bit of a weave and dodge there, but he takes it up to the about, I want to say we'll call that to the 25-yard line. That's where New Miami is going to start this third quarter.
Nolan Bornhorst made the tackle for New Bremen. It was not an easy tackle. Duncan almost got out of the wrap-up going right, had to double back and try to go left, and Bornhorst got a second attempt to bring him down to the ground and was able to do so.
Let's see what Jesse Hubbard has scripted up for this third quarter here as New Miami is going to take this first down in 10 at the 26-yard line.
Watching Mitchell Hayes as a safety to see if he double covers Deonta Duncan or if he goes to the backfield.
And toss to the left side. That's Danny Spivey. Danny Spivey doesn't get next to nothing, Joel. A loss for 1.
New Bremen had 4 defenders in the backfield, including Mitchell Hayes, who did indeed leave Deonta Duncan in man coverage. That's going to be something to watch in the second half here. How often do they leave Duncan and man coverage? And when they do, will Coach Hubbard take those shots down the field? You almost have to.
Right.
They've had almost no success at anything else offensively tonight, other than the deep throw.
What's pretty cool about watching some Division VII action is that you're seeing a lot of both sides of the ball players. And Mitchell Hayes is a trooper.
He's playing safety and playing quarterback on offense, and he's big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at him. He's big.
Under center is Trey Robinette. Rolls to the right side, tosses it over to his brother Jordan Robinette, but there's nothing there. A loss of 3.
And Blickel on the spot with the tackle. Apparently he's not injured that badly, Chris Vogt.
No, he smelled something there. That's going to bring a 3rd down and 12, a 3rd down 11 for New Miami at their own 25-yard line. If you're just tuning in, New Bremen sort of had a little bit of momentum at the beginning of the first quarter, reeling off 14 straight points. New Miami responded back with a Trey Robinette connection to none other than Deonta Duncan, and that has to happen often, a lot in the second half.
New Miami needs it. They need it bad.
Deonta Duncan lined up against Mitchell Hayes, and that's going to be a timeout Hubbard. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of uncanny, uncharacteristic, and untimely timeouts for New Miami, and it's the first one of the first.
When you're down by 21 points, you cannot start blowing timeouts early in the third quarter. You need them.
Well, they're going to study this 3rd down and 11 opportunity. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Welcome back to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. This 3rd down 11 play, a little bit of a trickery here. And Deonta Duncan's going to take this reverse, and he gets nothing, Joel. He had about 20 yards laterally, but nothing vertically.
And finally, Ryan Paul was the one that ran him down as the defensive end, trying to play contain on the opposite side of the line. And he was in position to track him down as Duncan was coming back around on that end around.
M. Moffitt coming out to punt this bad boy, and it's going to be 4th down and 9 at New Miami's own 27-yard line. Yeah, you don't want to give New Bremen the ball at this. Oh, shoot.
Oh, we got part of it.
Lickle got part of it, and he calls a fair catch, and that's going to be at the New Miami 45. Great field position for New Bremen. They're setting themselves up.
I don't think New Miami, I don't have the stats in front of me. I think New Miami has not punted the ball this much combined in their first 10 games this year.
Well, and when you look at the scores and you look at the stats, they haven't had to.
They haven't had to.
Right.
They've not faced competition of this caliber. And when you don't face it in your regular season and you can't line up against it in practice, it makes it very hard to simulate it and get ready for this type of experience.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
If you're wondering geographically, New Bremen is located directly north, about an hour and 45 minutes directly
right
north.
up Run 27.
Yep.
Along with Coldwater and St. Henry and all those guys.
Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun. Next to him is Dickey. And Dickey is going to get the ball up the middle, trying to find a little bit of something, weaving and dodging, and he's finally stood up, I should say, at the 39-yard line. They're going to push. That's going to push a gain of about 4. Second down.
It took 5 New Miami Vikings defenders to stop his forward progress, not to get him to the ground, but to stop his forward progress. And by the time the referee finally blew the whistle to end forward progress, he was still leaning forward a little bit.
Right.
That was just more of an injury precaution whistle.
We're pushing 9 minutes showing on this third quarter clock.
And the clock is running.
Yeah, it's ticking. 28-7. New Bremen up on top of New Miami. Mitchell Hayes in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers split, 1 to the right and 1 to the left. He's going to take it himself, a little bit of a roll to the outside. Pursuit from New Miami, and a good hit out of bounds, and that's going to be a no gain for Mitchell Hayes.
once again, the knee hits inbounds before he falls out, which is important because 40 more seconds will go off the clock before the next snap.
Well, New Miami isn't shy about hitting still in this second half. That was a nice pursuit and a nice crunch on the left sideline there.
They're absolutely playing. As you're watching this New Bremen squad, and you're seeing these key players of Wyatt Dickey, the running back, Mitchell Hayes, Ben Blickel on defense. These guys are all juniors. How good is New Bremen going to be next year?
Yeah, we'll see them again. Third down and about 7 here. Mitchell Hayes drops back to pass. Looks to the right. He's nothing going. A little bit of pursuit there, but he's going to make himself a good yard gain. Take down to the 20, the 10, the 15, 5, and he's down at the 3-yard line. Joel, that was all Mitchell Hayes there.
That was a design pass play.
Yep.
And he rolled out to the right. Defensive end kind of came up into the backfield. He slid up in the pocket. And he took off, and very sly veteran move there of using the umpire to screen the linebacker. He ran to the other side of the umpire and made it difficult for the tackle and ended up breaking that thing loose into the 5-yard line.
First and goal for New Bremen, looking to tack on more. We're going to see how New Miami responds to this drive here. And I tell you what, I don't know if I'm going to call it a wind out of the sails here, but this might do something of that nature to New Miami.
This is a nail in a coffin. I don't know if it's the last nail, but it is a nail.
Mitchell Hayes gets it himself, handoff to Berkey, and that's a no-brainer.
Easy.
Right there. Touchdown, New Bremen, 34-7.
He never got touched. Ran right to the middle of the offensive line into the end zone, and not a single Viking defender could even lay a hand on him.
New Bremen right out of the gate on their first drive of the second half. 7:58 showing on the third quarter clock, and this extra point is snapped. Oh, a little false start action before that snap, pardon me. That's going to be pushing it back 5 yards, Joel, and it's turning into a little bit of a field goal rather than an extra point here now. I always got to make that comment because you know what? It's not an extra point anymore. It's literally a field goal.
And it's high school football. High school, you cannot assume these kicks are necessarily going to go in, even though it looks like Owen Gable is a pretty decent kicker here for New Bremen.
Yeah, he's knocked every single one of them through the past 4 of them after their scores. We're going to keep you up to date on the Lakota West girls soccer program as they are up north in Columbus. It's 1-1 tied now, Joel. Kick is up, and it is good. Right down the upright. 35-7, New Bremen inching their way to a possibility of getting into Week 12.
And facing Lima Perry.
Yep, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Joel, New Bremen being New Bremen.
Yeah. Well, New Miami, welcome to MAC football.
Yep.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Oh, I just got an update. Dudukovic.
Go to West?
None other. State champions on a Dudukovic goal with 13 seconds left. Time runs out. They are Division I state champions.
13 seconds left?
Wow. Congratulations to Lakota
That's
West.
exciting.
And that was a little bit of a squib kick to New Miami and swallowed up once he got the ball. I think that was a Spivey brother. Spivey's coming off the field. He may have gotten a little bit of a wrist action there.
Kind of dangling his left arm there a little bit there. That's not pretty.
In number 42.
Doubled over in pain on the sideline. That's not good.
Joel, I can't express you how much Dylan Spivey has meant to that offense. You know, if you're looking at a passing game, you've got Trey Robinette and DeAndre Duncan, but Dylan Spivey really solidified that offense in terms of the running game.
Is Dylan the one going to Mount St. Joseph's coming up?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, he's had a very good career for New Miami.
Absolutely. Well, he's
only a junior, or is he a senior?
Yeah, I'm going to look at it right here. Yeah, Dylan's a junior, Joel, so he still has another year here with New Miami.
You're looking at Spivey and his eligibility status. I'm looking at Nate Ciavarella getting absolutely body slammed to the turf on a handoff by none other than Blickel.
Well, New Miami is going to see a 2nd down and 10 here at their own 27-yard line.
Everybody wants to talk about an offensive player as player of the game, but I think Blickel probably has to get it as a defender.
Absolutely. I don't know what kind of award we would hand out to the opposing team from out of county, but he's been
special. He's been special.
Quick pitch and catch to DeAndre Duncan, and it's wrapped up by number 14, Mitchell Hayes, making plays. Oh, I didn't mean to say it like that.
Well,
hold out the tongue.
I'm just kind of picturing Ben Blickel taking a 2-hour drive down 127 to go to Bird's Bar and Grill or Mel Tiger or one of our sponsors, right? Kind of difficult to give handouts to New Bremen, that's for sure.
Well, if they want to come down for an hour and 45-minute drive to get a Performer of the Week award, then
the supper might be worth it.
Right, so be it.
The performance certainly has been.
Right.
There's no doubt about that.
3rd down and 8 for New Miami. They're sitting at their own 30-yard line. We'll call it the 29-yard line. For those of you listening in, New Miami is moving from right to left on your internet device. I don't know what you're looking at. A quick pass to number 4, and that was Jerry Helton. That was there, Joel. Helton had a little bit of a seam there coming off the tight end on the left side while everybody was split out to the right side.
I don't know if he'd have been able to pick up the 1st down, but he could have certainly made it 4th and short and given Hubbard a decision to make there. And now the only decision is yet another punt for the New Miami Vikings. And now you got to worry about if New Bremen scores again, you're going to have the running clock kick in, which I hate so much.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, I don't think it's I don't think a lot of it proves anything in terms of your playoff hopes. But
right.
And Moffitt back to kick, and that might have been the first time that New Miami actually prevented anybody from getting in there to
Blickel looks slow on that. He's worked a lot tonight.
Hey, he's all right to take a playoff every once in a while.
That was definitely a little slow effort there. That's the Madden player that needs to come out for auto sub.
New Bremen's going to take this next possession after that punt at their own 41-yard line. 6:09 left to play in the 3rd quarter. New Bremen up on top of New Miami, 35-7. Again, we want to congratulate the Lakota West girls soccer program after getting word that they have just clinched the Division I state title.
The Lady Firebirds up at Mapfre Stadium with 14 seconds.
And just watching them play, I've watched them a couple times. They are phenomenal. It doesn't surprise me that they took home the hardware. Hand off to number 4, Dickey, and tripped up in the backfield. And it's kind of stumbled to the line of scrimmage.
Of course, Kettering Alter won a state championship earlier today, this morning for Division II.
Yep.
And then I believe, I didn't see a final score on the middle game today. I believe that would be Cincinnati Country Day was playing against Liberty Benton.
Here comes a 2nd down and 10 for New Bremen. A little bit of a trickery play here to reverse to Reckerman. Reckerman takes it down on the sidelines. A little bit of a stiff arm for Jordan Robinette, and Jordan Robinette holds on to him, pushes it out of bounds. Not until a 20-yard gain and passes midfield.
And yes, it looks like it was Cincinnati Country Day in that girls' Division III state championship over Liberty Benton. And a shout-out goes to Emma Robinson, who is east side of Cincinnati, born and raised, Jerry Robinson's daughter. That would be a great niece of my stepdad who was on that team that won a state championship today. So shout out there. Her older sister Olivia was a goalkeeper on that team a couple years ago, and I think she's an assistant coach now. So keeping it all on the Robinson family there on the east side of town. Cincinnati Country Day.
Those are neat little ties. Here comes 1st down and 10 for New Bremen at the New Miami 40-yard line, and burst up the middle for Dickey, and Dickey just an explosive running back out of the backfield. 1st down, and I think New Bremen's just having their way with New Miami right now.
The holes are getting bigger, Chris, and I think the aura of inevitability is starting to creep into the stadium right now as people are seeing what's going on and realizing how this end comes. And New Miami, speaking of which, Hubbard's going to take his second time out, try to get his guys reorganized for the home stretch.
Well, we're going to take a time out here as well, Joel. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student-athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student-athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Welcome back to John Mara Field here in the Village, where Mitchell Hayes is taking his first down, shotgun snap at the New Miami 27-yard line. Fake handoff to Dickey, and Mitchell Hayes is going to take himself. Yeah, he keeps it himself. 15-yard gain. 15-yard play. 17-yard play, 12-yard play, and now we're all the way down to the 15-yard line, Joel.
Simple zone read, watch the defensive end bite on Dickey, and then off he goes around the left end, and nobody touches him for 12 yards. Easy pickings for the Cardinals.
At the 15-yard line, and the clock is a-ticking, so after this score, if New Bremen crosses the goal line, we'll see a rolling clock.
I hate that rule so much.
Hand off to Dickey. Dickey, a little bit of a juke and jive. He's upended. Not until he got about a 6-yard gain there.
Gets about 5 yards before he's touched. Then nicked a little contact and falls forward for that last yard there. What a day for New Bremen High School, by the way.
Yeah.
State championship in volleyball over at the Nutter Center. Had to hurry their way over here to see this game, and they're going to have a long drive home, but pretty happy drive home.
Right. I mean, at this point, you're looking at 2 big wins.
Neutral site starts next week in Ohio playoffs. They're thinking Lima Perry. That's not too far away.
Yep. Mitchell Hayes fake toss to the left side, and I don't know if he's trying to toss it to somebody, but he was pursued by number 4, Jerry Helton. And actually, that might have been the first time that Mitchell Hayes has been touched behind the line of scrimmage.
It was supposed to be a quick screen to the left side, and New Miami read it, and it wasn't there, and Hayes saw it. He faked it. He threw it over to the right side to his receiver, number 3, Griffin Redkerman. The funny thing was Redkerman was actually blocking downfield when the ball was thrown behind him. Could have been called offensive pass interference, and now a flag just got thrown.
Well, that might be it. Oh, it might be. They might be calling
intentional grounding. Well, they had an eligible receiver in the area. It fell about 3 yards short, but they are going to call it grounding. Okay.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't know if are you gonna call that because the receiver wasn't looking, or
I would still contend that would be offensive pass interference because that was an eligible receiver,
right?
And he was out there in the area. He just was clearly thinking the pass would have already been thrown to the other side on the screen.
Mitchell Hayes was looking for a delayed button hook. It was a delayed button hook. There was no hook.
He got the button.
Right. We're going to call this 3rd down and about 22.
Lost it down on the play.
Yeah, absolutely. 3rd down and 22 for New Bremen at the New Miami 27-yard line. Nobody helping Mitchell Hayes in the backfield in the shotgun. Man in motion. Hand off to number 19. That's Tankman. Tankman, a little bit of this and that. Gets himself about a 10-yard gain. I'm almost all back to the original line of scrimmage, Joel.
Little jet sweep there for, as you said, there were 5 wide receivers in the formation. But the jet sweep came across before the snap there and handed the ball off to the wide back. They will have a chance if they wanted to try a field goal attempt here to go up by that 30-point lead. But they also might go for it.
Yeah, I think you're going to opt to go for it. Well, you're looking at it this way. New Miami, if they do stop, New Miami is going to have to go, 85 yards?
Yeah, and if you try the field goal and miss it, New Miami's got to go 80 yards.
Right.
So, all right.
Give or take.
Give or take. So under high school football rule about any missed field goal is a touchback.
Right.
So
which I think is kind of cool.
It's interesting. Dick Ballard, of course, will talk about trying to run 90-yard field goal attempts because he knows the other team gets the ball at the 20-yard line.
It's kind of an interesting...
If that's still in the rule books the way that Ballard says it was when he was coaching, I'm surprised more coaches have not figured that one out yet.
Right.
We have a timeout being taken by New Bremen after they let all the clock run down.
Yeah, we're going to take a timeout as well. 35-7. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Hey, this is New Miami's Austin Hart, and you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Well, New Bremen had a little bit of time to think this one over on a 4th down and 10 in striking distance at the 15-yard line. Joel, what kind of play are you going to call here if you're New Bremen? I mean, they're in the shotgun.
The clock stops no matter what. I think I'm going to sound crazy. How about a quarterback draw? It's worked very well all day.
It's worked multiple times for Mitchell Hayes. Mitchell Hayes gets it, drops back, slant route he's looking for, post route, and that's going to be pass interference they're calling. I don't know if you'd be able to call that one, Joel, but that's just me. Pass interference on Deonza Duncan.
It looks like pass interference. I would have had less of a problem with that if they called it defensive holding, because the contact seemed to happen before the ball was really in the air.
Right.
But there was definitely contact 15 yards downfield. And either way, you're going to have something. Now, this is interesting because pass interference in high school football is not an automatic first down. And with the ball at the 15-yard line, it's going to be half the distance to the goal, which is going to make it actually 4th down and 3.
So you're actually, if you're New Miami, that may not have been a bad play there. I mean, if you're trying to prevent a touchdown pass.
Just based on the field position and everything else, the down marker has made it first down now, but the referees have indicated that it's 4th. And now the down line has changed it back to 4th down again. So it's 4th and 3 on the 7-yard penalty for pass interference that does not have an automatic first down. You can't say that at any other level of football.
Right.
Interesting little spot there. And a timeout being taken by New Bremen to get themselves organized.
Yeah, Joel, we're going to take a break as well. 35-7, you're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Welcome back to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network. We are here at John Mayer Field for the first ever playoff home contest hosted by the New Miami Vikings. A snap, kick, extra point, or actually probably field goal, and it's good. Nice kick. Yep, Gable tacks on 3 points, and that's going to give him actually a running clock there.
That's right.
Yep, so
the pass interference penalty did get in close enough where they felt like they could take a comfortable field goal attempt.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
New New Bremen is up on top of New Miami, 38-7 after a decent field goal of length, especially at the high school level. Any field goal at the high school level is a good field goal.
That's right. That's right. Nothing automatic. Ball's going to go out of bounds, possibly? No, it stays in.
No, everything's going to Bremen's way.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Deonta Duncan was looking for that ball to go out of bounds, and then he said, "Look, I'm forced to pick it up. It's in bounds."
Got stopped inside its own 20 there, and once again, as we've said all day long, bad field position for the new Miami Vikings to start this drive. We got the running clock, which, I mean, I hate so very much. All these New Bremen guys and all the fans have traveled 2 hours to get to this game. We paid, what, $8, $9 to get in admission if you don't have a media credential, and now we're going to shorten the game, Chris.
Right. Well, I don't know if the running clock won't stop until after. Yeah, it starts right now.
It starts right now. Yeah. We're going to be out of here soon.
We want to thank you for listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. It's been fantastic so far. We're going to thank New Bremen's athletic program. We want to thank New Miami's athletic director, Eric Case, for setting us up. Just been just a cool atmosphere. Here comes a handoff. Yeah, Cardinals got a little bit of a traction inside the trenches there and saying nothing.
Yeah, and Chris, I got to say, too, what's been pretty cool to watch over this week, both over Twitter and behind the scenes, have been how the New Miami and New Bremen athletic departments have gotten together. I believe New Bremen was in Columbus for a meeting, I guess, for the state finals for volleyball, and they ran into the New Miami athletic director who invited them. On Monday, they actually went from Columbus down here to scout out the field and get a layout of the land and be able to give their fans idea about parking situation and seating situation before this game, before going back all the way up there to New Bremen. Yeah, it's a long day.
Well, that's also a neat story. Just some maybe a future relationship in terms of playing each other. Maybe like we were talking about. Hey, this wouldn't be a bad idea if both programs would actually play in the regular season.
Had New Miami scheduled New Bremen as a non-conference game, we can say by seeing how these two teams have played, they'd probably be 9-1 instead of 10-0 right now.
Right.
That's still probably enough to host a first-round playoff game.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's a 4 seed instead of as a 1 seed, but they will have also seen something over the course of the year that would have been much more like what they're going to see here in this playoff environment. Apparently, the Miami Valley Conference has not prepared them well enough compared to what the Midwest Athletic Conference prepared New Bremen for.
Well, as we're going to reach this third down and 9 for New Miami, well, I'm going to talk about that Miami Valley Conference in terms of a little bit of a shake-up with a couple programs moving into it. Trey Robinette, a little bit of a scramble, and he tosses it to Jordan Robinette, his brother. That's going to be an incomplete pass.
It is a mad scramble looking for a fumble, but it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
Went forward.
Yeah, Trey tried to hit his brother Jordan, but that was an incomplete pass. It's dirt. But Joel, 2 new programs, well, not new programs, story programs from the GCL moved from the GCL to the Miami Valley. So the Miami Valley Conference split into 2 there.
2 divisions.
More of your, I'm not going to say premier programs, but they made it to where it was going to be accessible for programs to play at their level of competition.
A little more school size going into there. Norwood had a horrible year, but was in the upper division.
Right.
So school size probably had something to do with that. We're at the end of the third, so we'll probably talk about that after the break.
Yep, we'll hit the fourth quarter here right out of this break. We're going to say hey to our sponsors. Thank you for letting us come into the village, because I tell you what, without our sponsors, we wouldn't be here right now. So we want to thank our sponsors. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Performance Toyota, located on Route 4 in Fairfield. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota. Matandi Steel, a proud supporter of Baden Athletics. Bird's Grill and Bar, our Fan of the Day sponsor. Rick's Tavern and Grill, our gift certificate sponsor. SuccessPhoto.com, professional images of your local student athletes. And Mel's Diner, located in the heart of the village, a proud supporter of New Miami Athletics.
Welcome back to John P. Mara Field here in the village of New Miami, where it is 38-7. We got the running clock going here, Joel.
And a punt.
Yeah, and a punt here. M. Moffitt boots it off. And
offsides on New Bremen.
New Bremen. That's going to push it to Let's see, man. It's going to be 4th and
4, about the 21-yard line, or 19-yard line.
So,
New Miami's still inside their own 20.
I don't know if Jesse Hubbard going for it would be the right idea. But
I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point, right?
Yeah, punt. I'm not going to say you're going to concede if you're punting, but it's saying, hey, I think we're almost.
When you have the running clock, that basically takes any chance of any possible comeback out of it. There was a game, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, where Talawanda was down by 35 to Harrison,
right,
and came back and lost by only 1 touchdown. But it would have been nice for them to not have to deal with a running clock for a couple minutes of that third quarter. You know, takes all possibilities of comeback out of it.
Punt, and I tell you what, this entire second half with New Miami punting, they just haven't been able to get a punt past the 50-yard line, and now New Bremen's going to take this drive at the New Miami 40.
It's hard enough to play New Bremen on a even field position game, but New Bremen has had a field position advantage as well as everything else today, and that has made their job even easier, and New Miami's struggle even harder.
Well, Joel, let's see what New Bremen does here. You're going to keep putting the gas on the pedal, or you're going to push on it, or you're going to say, hey, let's run these plays.
What you're going to do is you're going to put your backup quarterback in.
There he is.
Nolan Bornhorst is back there, number 9, playing quarterback.
He's in the shotgun, same formation, however.
And they just got New Miami to jump.
I don't know. I kind of saw somebody on the right side kind of do a little bit of flinching, but they're going to actually give it to New Bremen on that 5-yard penalty.
I don't disagree with you, Chris.
I saw a little bit of jump on the right side.
There's a little bit of movement really from both lines. I'm just looking at the line judge and seeing how he's signaling to his referee partners, and that's going to tell you what he saw, and his opinion's the one that's going to matter, not ours.
Right, yeah, we're not the zebras.
That's right.
In the shotgun is Bornhorst. He's going to take this shotgun snap, hand off to number 45. That's Muther. Muther to the left sideline. He's going to take it down, and he's in the end zone.
He stayed in bounds.
He stayed in bounds. Was that Colton Muther? Yes,
Colton
it was.
Muther.
Touchdown, New Bremen. That pushes it up to 44.
I can't believe he stayed in bounds. He tiptoed for about 15 yards on that left sideline, and nobody could trip him up. No one could get him out of bounds. He just kind of walked that tightrope for 15 yards all the way down on the end zone on that play. New Bremen's offensive line, man, has just been awesome all day long.
Well, you're looking at Colton Muther. He's a sophomore, so these players are getting some playoff action. That's
playoff action.
Huge for them.
That's right. That's right.
And I mean, just looking at the New Bremen roster, they're young to begin with anyway.
Well, I have a feeling that New Bremen will probably feel pretty good about a matchup against Lima Perry in a semifinal, as opposed to the bottom semifinal in this bracket, which is going to be Marion Local and Fort Loramie.
Right.
That matchup right there, Marion Local and Fort Loramie, that's going to be ridiculous. And New Bremen, when they've lost to Coldwater, to Anna, and to Minster, they haven't been all that close in those 3 losses. There's 10 teams in the MAC, and like the GMC 8-game conference schedule, which means you avoid one of those possible opponents. The team that New Bremen actually avoided this year was Marion Local.
There was.
So they may get them in a regional final if they both can win next weekend.
A little bit of familiarity in terms of closing out these regional contests.
And interestingly enough, I did a little research on this. You know, the GMC will rotate that schedule every year, so somebody different you play every year, or avoid every year. In the MAC, they do 2 years.
Yep.
So there's 2 years in a row now that Marion Local has not shown up on New Bremen's schedule. I would imagine that will change next year.
Absolutely.
And it'll be somebody else that'll get kicked off. If Marion Local was on that schedule, we wouldn't see New Bremen tonight because they'd have one more loss. They'd not made it to the playoffs.
New Bremen set the kickoff. Over to New Miami. Deonta Duncan takes it to the right side of the 30. And he gets crunched at the 32-yard line where he was corralled by some New Bremen Cardinals.
Chris, you were mentioning about the Miami Valley Conference right before we went to break at the end of the third quarter. Let me tell you a couple of winners in that whole thing. First of all, the Roger Bacon Spartans, who are leading Waynesville 28-14 midway through the third quarter now of their playoff game on the road. Battle of Spartans tonight in Division IV. Roger Bacon went 9-1 this year. They weren't going to do that in the GCL.
Right.
I mean, looking at the previous records, they weren't.
Right.
Another winner in that whole thing was, believe it or not, the Baden Rams. Because by beating Roger Bacon in a non-conference game, you get the Harbin points equivalent to beating a 9-win football team.
There it is. There it is.
Roger Bacon was worth more than Alter was to them.
Dylan Spivey takes an 8-yard gain. Called a 7-yard gain to their own 39-yard line of New Miami. Dylan Spivey was banged up. We saw him come off the field a little bit, kind of holding his wrist. But it's playoffs. He's going to get back out there.
It's last game for the season. He's a junior, you said, right?
Correct. Yeah,
so he's got one more year.
He's got one more year.
Trey Robinette's a junior. New Miami's, you're not seeing the last of them either.
Nope, not at all.
A lot of juniors on this field that are starring on both sides here.
And you know what's pretty crazy to say is that New Miami is just as good of a basketball team than they are a football team. So we'll see them doing some damage here as these winter sports.
Trading in cleats for hoops.
Yep.
As Robinette goes over to Hubbard to get a little bit of a play call there.
First down for New Miami. That puts the ball at their own 42-yard line. And the clock is tick, 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 tick. And 8:50 left to play in this contest. This Division VII Region 28 contest in the Village.
Yep. And to finish up that note about Baden, I guarantee you this. They would not have gotten a home game last night had Roger Bacon stayed in the GCL.
See, was that comment? Things happen for a reason. I don't know if I'm a big firm believer of that. It's just things happen.
Well, things happen for math and
right.
high school football. And
right. Hand off to Jordan Robinette. That's Jordan Robinette's first burst of energy that we've seen from him in terms of him seeing some play.
That hole was the biggest hole I've seen the New Miami offensive line form all night. I'm kind of wondering if there was a reason for it.
The face mask on New Bremen.
Oh!
Yeah, I saw that. It was kind of a little bit of a. I mean, the flags were thrown in the secondary.
It was late.
It wouldn't even be holding for New Miami.
So legit blocking. Props to New Miami's offensive line for giving such a big hole to Jordan Robinette, and then tack on 15 more yards after the run for the face mask. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, across the 50-yard line and then some. Now we're down to the New Bremen 30. 7:42 left, and the clock is ticking on this running clock. And the unfortunate part for New Miami is if they do score, they're still going to have a running clock.
I hate the running clock.
You know,
I get it for the MVCA game. That was the first time it ever made sense to me when I saw it here a few weeks ago for that. But for this is the boys' playoff game. Give them the full game.
Dylan Spivey takes his handoff to the left side, maybe outside of the left tackle there for about an 7-yard gain for New Miami. That puts them down at the 23-yard line.
The Vikings are moving the ball. I don't want to be that guy, but I will ask how many of New Bremen's starting defense is still out there, knowing they're going to have a playoff game next week with a 45-7 lead. But New Miami is moving the ball, and that's good.
Here, handoff, Spivey again, close to the yard marker, but he's going to be short. We're going to call that a 2-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd down and 1 at the 21-yard line of New Bremen.
One way you can tell, Chris, how many of the second stringers versus the first stringers are out there, look at the whiteness of the jerseys.
Right.
You don't get this on field turf. We're on a grass field here at Merrifield.
Yep.
One of the last few ones left. Harrison just played their last game on a grass field last night. They're getting field turf next year. Ross, of course, got it this year for the first time ever.
We do have one Butler County team aside from New Miami that still has it. That's
Madison Mohawks?
That's up in Madison Township.
There you go.
Dropping back. DeAndre Duncan's got a little bit of room, and he connected him for let's call that a 22-yard touchdown connection from Trey Robinette to DeAndre Duncan.
He was wide open.
Yeah.
Tate Rokerman was the defensive back on the play, and he was just peering into the backfield, not even realizing that his man had gotten behind him on the other side of that. Easy pitch and catch from Robinette to Duncan for the Vikings.
That's their second connection of the day in terms of scoring. And trade to DeAndre Duncan happened quite often during the regular season, if they weren't handing the ball off.
So if you started those two guys on your fantasy team, you still did okay tonight.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's not bad.
You hate to say it, but sometimes you got to pin those on a little bit of garbage points there.
Well, they're going to go for 2 here.
Yep.
They're not going to bother to kick this extra point.
Dropping back again, Trey Robinette trying to find... Oh, nice one-handed grab by Danny Spivey, the tight end, streaking across the middle for that 2-point conversion.
That was pretty. The score is exactly 30. Does that mean we will or will not have a running clock? I don't know. We're going to find out. I hate it, but we're going to find out.
I think 30 points is still going to
30 will still be the running?
As a running clock, correct.
Because after all the driving people did to get here, we wouldn't want to see more football now, will we, Chris?
Well, we want to thank our listeners and our viewers and followers. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt alongside Joel Sackenheim. It's been a fantastic call tonight here in the village. We've definitely enjoyed it as we're winding down in this Division VII, Region 8, Region 28 contest.
Region 28, yeah. Special night, though, here.
Yep.
One of the more historical nights in the history of the village, New Miami football, and certainly New Bremen is going to feel like it's a special day in their school's history, too, with the volleyball state title as well as being an 8th seed and having a very good shot to go to a regional final.
Huge day for this program.
New Bremen doesn't have anybody back.
And that's a kick from Trey Robinette. It's going to be returned by number 32, Hunter Schaefer, and brings it up to the 30-yard line where New Bremen's going to start this drive. Yeah, we're looking at 6:01 left to play in this contest. Jesse Hubbard just roaming the sidelines. I can see a little bit of dejection the way he's pacing the sidelines. But I tell you what, New Miami's hugging each other on the sidelines. It's a sign that they're throwing in the towel, but it's been fantastic following these New Miami Vikings this season. An electrified season for the Vikings.
Well, it's kind of your 5 stages of grief all in one game as you realize that the other team is going to beat you, and you fight it, and then you're depressed about it, you're angry about it, and then eventually you accept it, and that's where they're at right now, kind of accepting what's coming and looking back at what a great special season they had.
Absolutely. I think you worded it correctly.
And it was a special season for the village.
Absolutely. Well, just talking to a lot of the villagers, the business owners, the camaraderie has just been uncanny, unlike anything else. I mean, a lot of the New Miami graduates from the 70s and 80s were coming out and saying, we've never seen anything like this.
Well, and I'll tell you, when I talked about Baton earlier tonight, and when they played that game at Valley View, I rode on the band bus as the mascot that night, and we went through Germantown, which was Valley View's hometown, small town, very much like the village here, and there was not a single light on, there was not a single store open, there were 10-0 signs hanging in every window, and if you wanted to rob Germantown that night, you could have absolutely plundered any building that you saw. It wasn't until we got to the other side of the town, and we got to see the lights and see the stadium on top of the hill, that we realized where the entire city of Germantown was, and I had not experienced that again until tonight driving up here to the village, seeing again all of these different streamers of green and white, seeing all of the buildings closed, Mel's Diners closed up and everything else, with everybody hanging Viking signs, and you were in the village, and we love our green and white, we bleed green. This has been a special night for New Miami.
Well, from the time that they realized that they were getting a home playoff game, New Miami's been on the horn with not only just New Bremen, but around the county. I think, like you had said, a couple county fairs donated some of their bleachers, which is pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, they got one from Preble County, and they made a donation to the Butler County Fairgrounds, and got I think 5 more down from the Butler County Fairgrounds. And it's still not enough. It won't.
Right, I know.
They get 20 more, and it wouldn't be enough.
Hey, but I tell you what, if you're gonna watch this game tonight, I wouldn't be sitting in bleachers anyway.
Oh my goodness, it might be cold on those metal bleachers.
Yeah,
and
right.
actually, you do see looking across the field several sets of bleachers with nobody on them because people would rather be standing.
Yep,
it's true. It's cold.
Well, Nolan Bornhorst takes a
hard name to say, isn't it?
10-yard gain across the 40-yard line. It's going to be first down and 10 for New Bremen.
We'll be down around 3 minutes by the time the ball is snapped here, Chris.
As we're winding down here at John P. Mayer Field in the village of New Miami, it's 45-15. New Bremen on top of New Miami. Joe, I mean, to kind of testify in terms of what New Bremen's done, they just really never let New Miami kind of gain any form of momentum.
Well, that conference prepared them for this game. And their schedule they played, yeah, they had 3 losses to 3 really good Division VI schools. And, I mean, the MAC, I believe it was a couple years ago, because the teams bounce around from Division V, Division VI, and Division VII. New Bremen is always in Division VII. They're the smallest of the schools, or one of the smallest of the schools, along with Delphos St. John's. In that conference, you'll see Anna and Coldwater pop up to 5, depending on enrollment. Each year, they're right on the border. Marion Local's been going back and forth from 6 to 7, but I believe a couple years ago, this conference actually provided 3 different state champions in one season. And how can you compete against that? And that's a tough conference, and New Bremen was ready for this game.
It's the P word, preparation.
Preparation. I mean, you line up against New Miami, and you're like, oh, you're 10-0, that's great, but this is not Coldwater. This is not Anna.
New Bremen running some really, really good offensive plays, but New Miami smothering it up. Number 11, Elijah Faulkner makes a tackle on number 10, Ian Frey.
New Miami's not giving up here. Yeah, they're going to play this all the way to the end, which is a sign of a well-coached team for Coach Hubbard's boys.
Under 2 minutes to play, 1:40 left in this contest. 45-15, New Bremen on top of New Miami. I want to thank New Miami Athletic Director Eric Hayes for setting us up for prime seating like we did. This is as prime as it's going to get in this New Miami press box.
This is a well-should Side note on a different game, Corey Kiner just scored again. Roger Bacon up 42-14 on Waynesville now.
There it is.
This is a Miami Valley Conference team that'll get a playoff win.
Yep, and Waynesville is a Southwestern Buckeye League contest.
That's right, Monroe's conference.
Yep, Monroe and Madison.
And Madison, that's right.
Handoff up the middle. Dylan Spivey with the tackle. And that's going to bring up a fourth down. And we'll call that 5 at New Bremen's own 47-yard line.
Oh, Lord, that was Corey Kiner's 6th touchdown. Roger Bacon. Welcome to the playoffs, Roger Bacon. It's been a while since you've been there. Roger Bacon's last playoff appearance. I'm trying to see if I can see this here. That was in 2010, the last time Roger Bacon made the playoffs.
Wow.
So a little Catholic school pride there, and so their move to the MVC both helped them and Baden out. Not bad. New Bremen going to need to snap it here one more time as we get to low 30 seconds left. 4th and 3.
Yeah, this will be the final play of the game here as we wind down. 10 seconds left here.
There's your first down.
The first down.
That's it.
Actually, it's going to stop the clock, Joel.
Well, it's a running clock. So
yeah, it's a running clock. So that's it. New Bremen takes it, 45-15. Fantastically played by New Bremen. New Miami, quickly, let's summarize here. New Miami, maybe just not as prepared, and the firepower just wasn't there compared to what New Bremen was coming in with.
And by not as prepared, that is not a knock on Coach Hubbard or on coaching.
Absolutely.
Not as prepared by the schedule to face the caliber of team that came in here today. 5th place MAC team, but you don't mess with the MAC. You must respect the MAC. That's why we were talking about last week, this being the one matchup they would have preferred to avoid in a 1-8 game. New Bremen definitely did not feel like an 8 seed coming in here against New Miami, playing a game that felt very much like a conference game to them in this environment, which felt very much like a road game at Coldwater or Anna. New Miami having to try to simulate that somehow, some way, and just had a very, very hard time dealing with New Bremen's offensive line and the running game and being able to crack the code tonight.
Well, New Bremen started off 14-0 and just basically took it from there. We're going to thank everyone for tuning in. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. I'm Chris Vogt. I was alongside Joel Sackenheim. Joel, I want to appreciate you joining me, man. It's been a great ride this football season. We don't even know if we're going to broadcast next week. We may have something scheduled, so you're going to have to tune in. We may have a surprise coming up.
Well, I will be down in Florida next week watching Emma Brorman.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
The all-time leading scorer in Baden Rams boys or girls history.
Yep.
She's playing for University of North Florida.
North Florida, yeah.
Playing a road game at FIU, and I, her old grade school coach, will be down there watching my girl play Division I basketball. I'm pretty excited about that next weekend in Miami.
Fantastic.
Maybe you'll get Dizzle back.
Yeah, right.
From Miami.
Yeah, right. I will.
I'll be in Miami. He won't.
Well, we want to thank you. It's 45-15. We're going to sign off here. New Bremen tops New Miami. Now New Bremen moves on to face
the Perry Commodores.
Yep. So, but live from New Miami, the Village at John Mara Field. We want to thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Reports Radio Network. So long.